Wait, no more now. We're underway. All the theory gives way to reality as Everton begin this 1985 Cup final in search of the treble. Will it be the treble, or will it be third time, this time unlucky for Everton in this famous stadium? Everton kick off, attacking the goal away to our right, and immediately Everton trying to get down this near side, the right. Sharp tangling for the first time this afternoon with Moran. Free kick to Manchester United in the left full-back position. Arthur Albiston just tucks it back 15 yards to goalkeeper Gary Bailey. First important touch then for Gary Bailey. That'll settle him down a little bit. Wembley's been a mixed bag for Gary Bailey, winner and loser here. First clearance from him into the Everton half. Stapleton and Ratcliffe going in for it, and Peter Willis in there again quickly. Another offence. This time a free kick to Manchester United, their first of the match. Midway inside the Everton half. Brian Robson, the England captain, with it. Looks to his right. Gidman's offering himself. Plays a short ball to the left of Strachan. Move breaks down, and Andy Gray is back, edge of his own penalty area, tucking it back to Neville Southall. So both goalkeepers have had an important touch. Neville Southall, as Peter Jones was saying, yet to have a goal knocked past him in this stadium. The footballer of the year, having a nice long look at the ball, holds onto it, looks downfield, looks to see where Sharp and Gray are, swings the ball to this near side. Sharp is going up for Moran, not for the first time, I suggest, in this match. Arthur Albiston, the left back, looks towards his goalkeeper Gary Bailey. The route was closed off. Has to play a ball up to Frank Stapleton, but Stapleton's header is wayward, and Everton have it again now. Vanden Hauwe goes back 25 yards to Neville Southall. Tremendous atmosphere here. Even the weather has respected the occasion. A very warm day, a little bit muggy now. The sunshine temporarily has been lost. Very warm May afternoon. Tremendous conditions. The pitch looks superb, and Southall with another clearance. Once again, it's swinging to this near side, the Everton right. Moran going in with Gray. Whiteside trying to turn quickly. And as we would expect in these opening couple of minutes of an FA Cup final, it's all a little nervy, all a little frenzied. Whiteside with a through ball to Mark Hughes. There wasn't much in it, but Peter Willis points the finger down at the spot. Hughes just fractionally offside. Everton take a free kick quickly, playing it through the midfield. Bracewell to Vanden Hauwe. Vanden Hauwe looks to this near side to Trevor Steven. And this time Trevor Steven is offside. Arthur Albiston and the Manchester United back four coming up quickly. Free kick which Albiston just taps to his left to Olsen. First touch really for Jesper Olsen. Comes inside and then lays the ball back deep inside their own half to Kevin Moran. Moran plays a little bit of football and then steers it to his right to Paul McGrath. McGrath born just down the road in Ealing, but brought up, of course, in the Republic of Ireland, and today at the heart of that Manchester United defence, partnering fellow Republic of Ireland man Kevin Moran. Tough on Graham Hogg, who's played so splendidly over the last few months, but Hogg a little bit of a gamble it would have been because of his injury. United take a throw. Gidman steps inside and lays it back to McGrath. Up to the edge of the penalty area, headed away by Mountfield. Gray takes it on the chest, and then Steven shows a little bit of nerve there by hoofing it up in the air and not able to get any control on it. Frenzied midfield skirmishing going on, and Peter Willis stepping in again, our referee from County Durham, indicating another free kick and just having a word with the players. Good refereeing. Free kick to Manchester United then. Edge of the centre circle, literally about a foot from the halfway line inside their own half. Kevin Moran to take it. Wearing 6 with the right foot. Long ball to the left edge of the area. Stapleton goes up with Steven. Stapleton knocks it forward. Whiteside goes in, and the first attack at goal from Norman Whiteside flashes over the top of Neville Southall's goal, and Southall coming out to narrow the angle on Whiteside has stayed down after that. He's going to require some attention from this near side. Southall bravely going in there to block Whiteside. He didn't get a touch anyway because Whiteside had to hit it hurriedly over the top. Southall, I think, will continue without the treatment, even though the trainer is going on there to offer himself. An early word from our guest today, an FA Cup winner himself, of course. Indeed, he got a goal which won an FA Cup for West Ham, Trevor Brooking.
Yeah, well, the first few minutes, as always, a little bit frantic, and both sets of back fours had pushed up, and really they had 20 outfield players just in the third middle of the field. But that was the first opportunity, the first time a goalkeeper being called upon. Frank Stapleton got a little head on, and certainly if there has been a question mark about this Everton defence, which has been so solid all season, it is occasionally in the air, and certainly Frank Stapleton winning that first cross will give them a bit of confidence in that area.
United have won another free kick in the centre circle. So many keys in this game, of course. We're looking at the midfield skirmishing between Peter Reid and Brian Robson. We'll be looking to see how Gary Stevens copes with Jesper Olsen's pace, and if Strachan can get down the right against Pat Vanden Hauwe. Equally, we'll be looking at United's back four defending against Gray and Sharp. One of the back four has that free kick. Moran, beaten away by Everton to this near side, the United left. Albiston trying to play a ball down the line to Jesper Olsen. Can't make the pass, and Jesper Olsen won't be lacking for support this afternoon. The family and friends have all come across from Denmark to cheer the little man on. Everton take a throw down this near side. United get it away. Moran plays it forward for Hughes. And these two defences have started well as far as the organisational qualities are concerned, because they're coming up at the right time and they're catching the forwards offside. United caught offside there, so Kevin Ratcliffe, the Everton captain, standing over the ball midway inside his own half in a central position. Swings a free kick to this near side. Andy Gray is always taking up the position on the right for that free kick. Ball runs loose to Trevor Stephen. Stephen looking to get an early cross in, but there are two United players there. Alberston blocks Gary Stevens, and now it's with Trevor Stephen. Try and make those names clear for you. Stephen and Stevens. This time it's Stevens, the fullback, with a long raking ball to the far post, but a little bit too close to Gary Bailey. Gary Bailey holding it well. Might look easy, that, but of course when there are 100,000 people watching you, and when there's a worldwide audience watching you as well, that could be an examination of a goalkeeper. Bailey, though, did it well. He's fed Gidman, the fullback, over on the far side. Gidman with a long ball 30 yards down the line to Frank Stapleton. Stapleton showing good control, and a tricky little ball inside to Strachan. Strachan loses his man and sets up Brian Robson 25 yards out from goal. Robson had a pot at the goal. Couldn't get any pace behind it at all, though, and it ran through very gingerly for Neville Southall. Southall using the full length of his area now, coming out and bouncing the ball. Made so many great saves in this season of seasons for Everton. Clears into the United half. The ball bounces midway inside the United half. Kevin Moran and Andy Gray going in again. My word, what a contest those two are going to have this afternoon. This time Moran adjudged to have fouled Andy Gray. Everton then with a free kick, 15 yards inside the United half. Gary Stevens indicating that he would like the ball, and here's the man to take this free kick. Maybe Stevens won't have as much room to go forward this afternoon. He'll have to be wary of Jesper Olsen. Takes the free kick now. Gets the ball into the area, headed away by United. It's falling dangerously for Bracewell. No, it's not, because Gordon Stratton's just got to turn it away for United. But Peter Willis, Trevor, the referee, is jumping in very quickly. He's blown his whistle again there. Another offence. This time it's gone United's way.
Yeah, we had quite a few free kicks. First of all, a few offsides, and then again one or two raised foots. That one there, Paul Bracewell it was, who went in on Gordon Strachan, and certainly he's trying to clamp down in an atmosphere that obviously is a little bit hectic in these opening minutes. And as you said just now, I thought Trevor Stephen and Gary Stevens, who had a great partnership on Wednesday, and a lot of the attacks were built up down that right-hand side. And Jesper Olsen has got to make sure that he gets some worrying about him going forward rather than concentrating on having to do the defensive jobs, really.
7 minutes gone then in this FA Cup final of 1985. It's Everton 0, Manchester United 0. Everton, this of course the last leg of the famous treble. Manchester United, disappointed at losing out in the Championship, want to make amends. They won't go that way. A pretty desperate ball from Whiteside, but fortunate to make it to this near side now to Olsen. First real tussle between Olsen and Gary Stevens, and psychologically Gary Stevens wins it, and then spreads it wide to the far side. Graham Sharp is steaming into the penalty area. Lovely work though from Paul McGrath on the floor to take it away from Sharp. Tries to get the ball back to Gary Bailey, but wins himself the goal kick anyway. And that was an important moment just then, maybe. Gary Stevens coming in and taking the ball off Jesper Olsen, because, Trevor, I know a lot of people think that could be one of the key areas this afternoon.
Yes, I think the wide lads, I mean, a lot of people talk about the midfield, but I think both wide players, Gordon Strachan is in terrific form, and Jesper Olsen has got the potential to be a match winner. And I know in the game that was drawn back in March, when it was 1-apiece, Jesper was the dominant factor. He got a goal from a deflection, but he did give Gary Stevens a hard time, and I'm sure Gary was pleased to get that first tackle in.
Meanwhile, the action has switched from this near side, the Olsen-Stevens tussle, to the far side, but no problem there for Pat van den Houw. The Belgian-born Welshman, what a season he's had. He started in the second division with Birmingham. Now here he is at Wembley. Under 90 minutes away maybe from picking up all three major medals this season. United heading away through Kevin Moran to this near side. Under a little bit of pressure there, Moran, so all he can do is to steer it into touch. We're sitting just inside the half being defended by Manchester United, and all the United fans are behind the goal that they're defending as well. Moran again going in on Graham Sharp, and some good early work here from Kevin Moran. Really making his presence felt at the back for Manchester United. 1983 winner against Brighton, Moran. Certainly an experienced man, and they're going to require him. Graham Sharp now wants this throw from Gary Stevens at the near post. Stevens is aiming for him. Bailey comes out and just punches away. Reid fires it in, and it hits the post. Gary Bailey punching not too convincingly. The ball fell to Peter Reid, edge of the penalty area. Reid struck it first time, and it hits the foot of Gary Bailey's right post and spun away for safety. It is a corner, though, to Everton, over on the far side. And Trevor Stephen has gone over to take it. The first moment of real drama then in this FA Cup final Inspirational Peter Reid, just a coat of paint away from the goal. The corner comes in, beaten away by United, forces Kevin Sheedy, and Sheedy swings the trusty left foot at it, but this time gets far too far underneath it, and Gary Bailey at last can hold on to that ball gleefully.
Well, the long throw definitely caused problems there. It went in towards the near post, and really Gary looking to punch it back out to where the throw came from, but in fact he punched it towards the middle of the goal. Peter Reid was there, hit the volley, and it hit the outside of the post with a lad, John Goodman, I think, in the fullback position, beaten, and it certainly would have gone in if the goal post hadn't stopped it.
Oh, at a moment that might have been for Peter Reid, who was in the action again over on the far side, and he's done enough to win an Everton throw-in just about 8 or 9 yards from the corner flag over on the far side there left. Vanden Houw takes it, gets good distance. Gray's going in, but Bailey holds it well under pressure from Andy Gray. And Peter Reid, really, perhaps nobody more so than Peter Reid, has reshaped this Everton team. He's moulded the style with his patient possession. Doesn't score many goals, but he was so close there to making it 1-0 to Everton. At the moment, though, Everton having to defend. Mountfield climbs well, but United have possession. Just inside the Everton half. Olsen looks to this near side and plays a very intelligent ball if Arthur Robertson can make it. Gary Stevens is steaming across, times the tackle superbly. Throw into Manchester United, but certainly the action is swinging from end to end. Arthur Robertson then. 2 FA Cup wins for Manchester United already. Robertson takes the throw. Poor ball this time from Olsen. Olsen not having much space at the moment to make an early impression here. 11 minutes gone here at Wembley. It's clouded over a little, but the atmosphere, as you'd expect, is absolutely intense. 0-0. Everton the closest to a goal so far through Peter Reid, hitting the base of the post. United throw. They're now working it through the back four. Kevin Moran drifting through the centre circle. Tries a little chip to Stapleton. Good climb though by Ratcliffe. Forced to Kidman, the fullback. Turns the ball in. Mountfield is there and Southall is there. And just for a moment, Mountfield and Southall just looked at each other a little bit. Neither wanted to claim it as it ran across the face of the penalty area. And it's gone out for an Everton free kick, which Neville Southall would take.
Oh, it's a great cross. John Goodman finding himself well upfield. And because Kevin Sheedy plays a bit deep, so John Goodman, who likes to attack, can get into those positions this afternoon. He played a perfect cross just behind the centre-backs, Ratcliffe and Mountfield. And Neville Southall wasn't sure whether to come, and it went right across the face of the goal. And certainly, if anyone had just got a toe end, it would have been in.
Very good work then by John Goodman, and equally good work by Mark Hughes to set up Roxton and to go for the return ball over on the far side. Hughes gets the cross in looking for Whiteside, but Mountfield was there first for Everton. And John Goodman, let's mention him because he really is a romantic story today. He was the man defending desperately when the ball hit the post and reach shot, and he was the man who just put the good cross in. Former Everton player, plagued by injuries during his career. The man who put Manchester United out of the Milk Cup against Everton with that late own goal at Old Trafford. He would dearly like to make an impression here today, and he started well. Moran with a free kick to Manchester United. Stapleton climbs with Mountfield. Stapleton, adjudged to have just done a little bit too much in the air on Mountfield's shoulders. And it's interesting that obviously Mountfield is taking Stapleton, the bigger man. He's got the aerial threat, Stapleton. And it's Ratcliffe against Hughes for the most part. Wales against Wales. That's going to be a mighty confrontation as well during these next 75, 80 minutes or so. Still 0-0 in the FA Cup final. Gray with a back header looks to this near side for Stevens. Sharp takes it on the chest and tries to bring a little composure to the proceedings, but it's all a little bit tight for him. United rob him, trying to release Stapleton on the halfway line. United playing things just a little bit too quickly at the moment. They need to put their foot on the ball maybe. Interesting that really neither Gordon Strachan nor Brian Robson have really had too much possession yet in these opening 13 and a half minutes. Throw in down this near side for Everton. United back in number, forcing it away again, but Everton are gaining ground. They've taken the throw already. Stevens to Stevens, and now Peter Reid with space. Looks to his left. Vanden Houw 30 yards from goal. Well, it was brave, but it was a full-back shot. He popped it. It would have been okay in the Rugby League Cup final a couple of weeks ago. But well over Bailey's target. And the whistle has gone this time because Kevin Moran, oh my word, he's going to require, well, this is almost in the script, isn't it? Kevin Moran is going to require attention. Battle-scarred Brave at the back of the United back four. Already he's got a problem. It's the old eye, which has let him down so many times in his career. Trevor, you will know all about Kevin Moran, having had many, many collisions with him over the years, I should think.
If I saw Kevin come in, I used to duck actually, Mike, but I must admit he wouldn't feel the same if he didn't have a cut eye during a game, and to get it this early on, I'm sure he'll enjoy the rest of the match, but he seems okay. I don't think it's anything serious, and Gary Bailey is ready to take his kick.
Kevin Moran can now feel completely at home in this 1985 Cup final. He's got the wound there already, and Bailey takes the kick from the left position. Looking for Stapleton. Stapleton going up with Mountfield. Can't direct a header to Strachan. And Everton now trying to build over on the far side. Sharp has gone across, showing good control again there, Sharp. Always likes to use the chest and the shoulders to bring the ball down. The ball, though, runs out over onto the running track over on the far side. Throw into Everton. No score then here at Wembley, and that is exactly the same position in the Scottish Cup final at Hampden Park. Celtic against Dundee United. No score there yet either, so it's very tight to north of the border. Reed going in with Stapleton. The ball's up in the air. Vanden Houwe jumping with Strachan. Everton still have it. Sharp again bustling, now with Bracewell, with Reed, and Reed looks to this near side because it's getting so very, very hectic over there, but he can't make his pass. Splendid work by Whiteside, and some room now for Arthur Alderson galloping away. Down below us on the left. Superb ball into Mark Hughes, left edge of the area. Great tackling back by Peter Reed. Mark Hughes maybe just getting down his slightly there, but Peter Reed coming back, showing great aggression, took it off him. And Manchester United, and particularly I noticed down there Norman Whiteside, is screaming at Mark Hughes because that was a moment for United to break. And they rather lost their way slightly. Hughes got a little bit bogged down, and Reed came hurtling back to take it off him.
Yeah, it was a dangerous position. Mark Hughes just in the penalty area, and I think he could have got a low cross across the face of the goal, and it could have caused problems. But it's a good flowing move, and interesting to see Arthur Alderson galloping down the left wing, and it looks as if United have encouraged John Goodman and Arthur Alderson to get forward as much as possible and try and get Kevin Sheedy and Trevor Stevens running the other way.
Well, all the fullbacks love to go forward, and we may be having just a little bit too much whistle at the moment. It's gone again, 17 minutes gone here at Wembley. No score. The prize so very, very massive here, and they're really going in for these 50-50 balls, and Peter Willis with the whistle at the moment, working a little bit overtime. United trying to get through, but no way through Derek Mountfield, and would you believe it, I think the whistle has gone again, edge of the Everton penalty area. Everton then defending the goal away to our left, and at last all your questions are being answered. So much speculation about this final. The country did seem to be divided 50-50 about who could make it today. So many imponderables. Now at last we're underway, and Everton's Andy Gray stared point blank at the linesman with a red flag on this near side. A little bit of gamesmanship there by Andy, but he knew he was offside. And it's a proverbial chess game, Trevor, isn't it? Both clubs just teasing each other and testing each other in these early stages.
Yeah, well, both back fours are pushing up so much, so everyone's crammed into this middle area, and that's really why I think if the breakthrough is going to come, they have got to get round the outside, and United using both fullbacks, and I think Everton perhaps have got to try and get Gary Stevens and Pat Van der Houwe also, because that might be where the space is going to be today on the wing.
Well, I remember on Sport on 2 bringing you the Everton 5, Manchester United 0 league match way back in the season. That was perhaps the most comprehensive league first division performance we saw all season from any team. One of the reasons why Everton went on to win the championship with 5 games to spare. And one of the reasons why Manchester United couldn't match them for consistency. But this is the one-off FA Cup final when absolutely anything can happen. And Everton now with a goal kick. Southall to Sharp. Trevor Stevens works it to this near side to Gary Stevens. 10 yards inside the United half. Trying to release Bracewell. Bracewell, the brave runner, going through. And Bailey, equally brave, comes out at his feet and takes it away. Combination of hands and feet eventually to get it away. Whiteside turning into trouble. And he made life very difficult for Olsen. Olsen did well under the circumstances to find Stapleton on the halfway line. Oh, and what a ball to that far side to Gordon Strachan if he can take it in his stride. Midway inside the Everton half. Lovely ball in turn to Hughes, left edge of the area. Hughes attacking the Everton goal. And what on earth was that? Half a shot, half a centre. And in the end, it's Kevin Sheedy bringing it away in the left back position for Everton. I think that's the first time I've mentioned Sheedy, who really has made a major contribution this season on the way to this FA Cup final for Everton with those stunning free kicks. Left foot perfection work throughout this season from Kevin Sheedy. No way through there though for Everton. Bailey clears. Stapleton going in this time with Ratcliffe. Gets a little header to Strachan. Strachan now just inside the Everton half, centre circle. Stapleton's got 4 blue shirts around him. Has to come to this near side, and Olsen's offering himself, just drifts in field, gives it back to Stapleton. Little bit of space for Stapleton, dribbling towards the area. Still Stapleton. Stevens on the floor, trying to take it off him. Robson 25 yards from goal. Sets himself up for the shot, and then just gets it wrong in the last minute, and drags it 3 or 4 yards wide of Neville Southall's right-hand post. But that's twice Brian Robson's got himself into shooting position. But the end product has been disappointing.
Yeah, a good little 5-minute spell for United, actually. A couple of flowing movements. Just haven't had the finishing touch on the edge of the area. Frank Stapleton up front showing up well, though, in both link-ups, He's won a couple of balls in the air, and then just now he shielded it well, held it up until he was joined, and I think he's having a good game up for us.
An Everton throw, 15 yards from the halfway line, on the near side there right. Gary Stevens takes it, looks for Gray, and Gray wins that one, but can't find a colleague, I don't think. Kevin Moran is sweeping up for Manchester United to Gidman. It was a dangerous ball from Moran, edge to Gidman, edge of the penalty area. Gidman looked a little bit annoyed to get that one, and the move has broken down. Everton now with a throw. Gray takes it on this near side, trying to find Bracewell. Moran is tussling again at the back, and this time does stab it clear, comparatively clear, 20 yards from goal now, an Everton throw. And it's Gary Stevens again, the Barrow-born fullback, England squad member. Good throw, Gray going in with Bailey. That led to the incident, of course. Bailey flapping and punching, and Reid was close, but this time Bailey did manage to get a good angle on it and force it wide to this near side, the Everton right. Another throw for Everton, and Gary Stevens has stayed up to take it. Only 5 yards or so from the corner flag. These throws are almost as good as free kicks. Another good distance. Sharp going in. Little back header. Missed jump by Gidman. Doesn't get the header away, and there's Reid, this time 30 yards from goal, steering it to Stevens again on the right. Long cross from Stevens to the back post. Gray goes in. And Gray won the header, but it's gone wide of the target. And Ron Atkinson must count to 10 every time he sees the ball put in the air, and every time he sees the powerful figure of Andy Gray, the man he really admires as the most dangerous forward in the First Division, trying to get underneath it.
During the season, Everton have scored so many goals from set pieces, sometimes free kicks to Kevin Sheedy, the near post corner kicks that are flicked on, and now these long throws today. Gary Stevens must have had, 5 or 6 already, and really 3 or 4 of them have caused problems, and Man United haven't looked convincing in trying to get the ball away.
Well, I don't know, neutrals, uncommitted people found it hard to separate these two clubs, and certainly in these opening 22 minutes or so, no clues, no guidelines at all yet. It's just the way that it was really at 3 o'clock. Honours undoubtedly even. Everton closest so far. Peter Reid just shading that post. Already we've reached incredibly the midway point of the first half, and it's Peter Jones now through till half-time.
Gary Bailey in that United goal to our right. Long clearance from him, drops 20 yards inside to the Everton half. They clear the ball, running for Sharp. Sharp halfway inside United half, has to control it. He's 5 yards outside the area, looking for a little bit of space. Can he find the space? He finds the space, but he can't find an Everton colleague. Sheedy tried to help him out and couldn't in the end. And then a long ball is played deep inside the Everton half. Captain Ratcliffe that runs away from the ball, leaves it to Stapleton. Stapleton with a shot. Southall saves, just diving, half diving away to his left. Good strong running by Stapleton, but as he shot there, he seemed to do something to his leg there, Trevor, because he's holding that right ankle of his.
He's just wrong-footed at defence and turned inside, and Kevin Ratcliffe, who is so quick on his recovery, managed just to get back, get in a half a tackle as he hit his shot, and I think he's just called Frank on the thigh or on the knee, but although he's limping now.
And a back pass, a bad one from Albiston. Bailey comes out, clears, but almost lets in Andy Gray. A slip up there by United. They lived a little bit dangerously. Stevens takes the throw for Everton, way below us, down the Everton right. Reid forward, looking for Trevor Stevens. Gets a difficult ball back to Stevens. That ball, though, cleared by Albiston for Manchester United, way beyond Mark Hughes. No problems there will be for Ratcliffe. And plays the ball back to fellow Welsh international Neville Southall in that goal, who comes outside his area and feeds it back to Ratcliffe, and then back in turn to Southall. 4th time here at Wembley, as we were saying, and he's never been beaten. Manchester United will want to make a change to that little bit of history this afternoon. 0-0, 24 minutes gone in the 1985 FA Cup final, as the ball will run into touch. Strachan will claim the throw for Manchester United. No, says the referee Peter Willis. That will go to Everton. So Pat van den Haar, the left back, will take it when Strachan agrees to deliver the ball, which he now does. And van den Haar is halfway inside the United half, far side. The Everton left finds Peter Reid. Back in the England full squad now, after a remarkable talent this season for Everton. And the ball will run over the goal line, and that will be a goal kick to Manchester United. But certainly Peter Reid, one of the best examples, I think, Trevor, of the way Everton have played as a team this season. A great competitor, Peter Reid.
Yes, I think early in the game he chased right back, didn't he, to get a late tackle in on Mark Hughes, and that summed up how he does play the game. And I think when he was voted the players' player, and if you ask Everton players who they're most least like to be without in the side, I think Peter would probably be on the list of being the first player on most of their names.
And he, of course, and Paul Bracewell now very much in Bobby Robson's reckoning for the forthcoming trip to Finland and then off to Mexico. 0-0 here in the FA Cup final, as McGrath plays a long ball deep inside the Everton half without any real direction, though. And van den Haar, under no pressure, plays it back once more to Southall. Massive figure of Neville Southall, and those gloves he enjoys. White backs to them, always there and safe and positive. One of the best in the business. Van den Hau, a rather sloppy ball from Everton's fullback, but Gidman doesn't really capitalise on that. Gidman at 31, the oldest player on the pitch this afternoon, born in Liverpool, played for Everton, and now very much wanting to knock Everton out here this afternoon. Then the Everton throw, McGrath with the header, picked up by Bracewell though, tight to the far touchline, again down the Everton left. The cross will come in inside the United area, and good calling I would have thought there by Moran, because it seemed that Bailey was right behind him. No problems for him. Bowls it just below us. Yes, for Olsen, the Danish international. From Ajax to Manchester United, from one big club to another. Robson, not seen too much of Robson's great talent so far this afternoon. Not surprisingly, very tightly marked. And I'm sure looking for some of those strong runs from midfield which he enjoys and from which he scored so many smashing goals, both for England and for Manchester United. Ball just inside the Everton half. Strachan's there. He's being challenged. Ball goes through the gap, but again Gary Stevens, who hasn't put a foot wrong so far this afternoon, another member of the England squad, Gary Stevens, and he plays it back to Southall, who just stands on the ball almost on his own white penalty spot away there to our left, bounces the ball once and then will come out right to the edge of the area. Long kick as always from the Everton goalkeeper, drops almost halfway inside the United half. Good header by Moran. A challenge coming in from Robson, then Reed, a long high ball. It's a bit far forward I think for Gray. He'll go charging after it though. Bailey is there, and Bailey holds on to the ball as he was being challenged, and the referee says that is perfectly fair, and Bailey did well. Andy Gray seemed to have gone out of the business. Started with Dundee United and then Villa and Wolves. £1.5 million talked about for Andy Gray, and then with Adrian Heath of course out since Christmas, along came the old war horse, and he's been absolutely splendid, Andy Gray. Whistle goes for a free kick to Manchester United, halfway inside their own half, which Paul McGrath will take, man who didn't have a very distinguished game about 6 or 7 weeks ago when he played the Republic of Ireland here against England. And up at Hampden Park, it's still no score in the Scottish Cup final. Celtic 0, Dundee United 0. As the ball is just inside the Everton half, but there are 4 Everton blue shirts to defend. One of the best defensive formations in the league this season, Everton. The league champions, the European Cup winners, cup holders, after their smashing win in Rotterdam in midweek. And here they are going for a unique treble. McGrath with a header, Moran with a header I should say. Ball on the halfway line, Stevens. A long, high dropping ball for him. Gray will go thundering after it, but McGrath was under no real pressure. Puts himself almost under pressure, allows Trevor Stephen to come in, but still clears it as far as Hughes. Little figure of Olsen. He's lost it though. Ball played through. Good, sensible ball there by Ratcliffe. And Bailey has to come right outside his penalty area again. And Bailey in the end played it. What sensible work there, Trevor, by Ratcliffe, and saw the offside, ran through himself.
Yeah, I think that's what some of the lads have got to do. If they do push up trying to play the offside, the front men have got to make sure they come out, and then somebody from deep positions, such as Kevin Ratcliffe, who played himself in there, have got to try and break it down that way.
Stevens, another long throw for Everton. Fat header coming in from Gray, looking for Bracewell going through. Bailey again coming off his line. And again has to show a bit of bravery, does Gary Bailey. A loser's medal here in 79, but he got a winner's in 83. Wants another one this afternoon. His father, Roy, of course, a distinguished goalkeeper with Ipswich back in the 60s. Bailey playing his 27th FA Cup tie. His clearance doesn't go very far, though. Trevor Stephen, the young England star now. Ball, fortunately for Everton, drops to Bracewell, plays it back to Mountfield. Big, strong Mountfield, born in Liverpool, very much a Merseyside man. To Booze from the Mancunians away to our right, plays it back to Southall. 29 minutes have gone here in the 1985 FA Cup final at Wembley, and it's still Everton 0, Manchester United 0. The ball 10 yards inside the United half. Again a header from Moran, who seems to have recovered from whatever the facial injury was. More facial injury, somebody said this morning, than Henry Cooper. Again, Hughes prepared to challenge for that, but he was hemmed in by blue Evertonian shirts once more. Southall under no pressure, holds the ball firmly. A lot of composure from Neville Southall, the player of the year. And then a little shuffle, comes forward, long kick again, right-footed, almost halfway inside the United half. Gidman underneath it, heads it away, falls as he heads. Van den Hau will find Reed. Back to Van den Hau, plays it forward to Gray. 20 yards inside the Manchester United half. He's being challenged by Robson. He fouls Robson. United take the free kick too quickly, though, and Peter Willis, showing all the authority of his professional duties as a referee and, of course, a police officer, has a quick and, I'm sure, authoritative word with Andy Gray. Andy Gray, who tends to like to have words with referees and linesmen. And now the referee is, I think, having a little word with Gidman. I think something wrong possibly with Gidman's eye. Handkerchief comes out. See this very often. And he's giving a little bit of medical attention to John Gidman, to oohs and ahs from the Everton supporters. Gidman's all right. United take the free kick. Strachan, Robson back to Strachan. And Strachan is fouled, and fouled fiercely by Andy Gray. Andy Gray gets up and says, I don't believe it. One Scotsman to another. And this time I think Peter Willis will have an even stronger word with Andy Gray. It's a very, very strong tackle indeed. One big Scotsman, one little Scotsman. Strachan's all right though. Tough little man. The man from Aberdeen. Gordon Strachan's all right. 2 league medals. 3 cup medals, the Cup Winners' Cup medal. He's been in the wars and a lot of victories for Strachan. Free kick drops on the edge of the Everton penalty area. Stevens plays rather awkwardly, but nevertheless effectively. But the ball's with Olsen. He's lost it though, a little bit casual there, Olsen. Perhaps feeling the nerves of the big occasion, although he's seen some big occasions in his time as Olsen. Long ball laid forward again. Stapleton galloping after it. Monkfield's there, back to Southall.
Yeah, again, it's still... we thought with the weather that they might have a yard or two of extra space, but with both defences pushing up like that, then if they're taking an extra touch, they're getting pounced on. Certainly Jesper Olsen at the moment hasn't settled down, and Gary Stevens is keeping him well under control. And over the other side, on the left side, Kevin Sheedy hasn't really been in it for Everton, and at the moment certainly defences are dominant.
As the ball is belted deeply into touch by Norman Whiteside, again one of the players that Ron Atkinson hopes could win the cup for him this afternoon. Playing a very good midfield role, Norman Whiteside, since the injury to Remy Moses. Hat-trick against West Ham, you may remember, in one of the previous rounds. A throw from Stevens, long again, looking for Sharp. Good header from Moran. Runs into touch, Stevens will take it again. Only 5 or 6 yards now inside the United half. Immediately below us, down the Everton right. Finds Sharp with the header. He in turn tries to find Trevor Stephen. Whiteside. Good strong challenge from Whiteside. Ball runs into touch. Correct decision by the linesman. Sharp didn't agree with it, but it was clear it just touched the shin of Sharp as it went in. So Alberston will take the throw for United. Stapleton bends backwards to control it with his chest. Tries to slip the ball in field, but it was too tight for him, and Stephen will play it back to Monkfield. Monkfield forward, but McGrath is there. Good strong defensive work from both sides so far. As the ball again is back-headed by Sharp, but into space, and the only man who fills the space is the man in the red number 6 shirt for Manchester United, Kevin Moran. Long clearance from him, a good header from Stapleton, but he's being pushed and shoved by Stevens this time, so it'll be a free kick to Manchester United. A yard or two inside the Everton half, 33 minutes, just coming up to 33 minutes on the watch here. In the first half, and it's still Everton 0, Manchester United 0. Robson touches it to Alberston, back to Robson, facing his own goal. He has to slide it even further back towards that goal. Moran, I didn't think any adventure from Moran quite correctly, just plays it nice and simple back to Gary Bailey. Bailey bounces it once. A couple of brave saves from Bailey, although nobody really has been severely tested so far. 2 very, very good goalkeepers from Wales and England. Van den Hauwe from Belgium, the Welsh international. Starts to move forward, moves inside United half, skips away from the Robson tackle. Still Van den Hauwe finds Gray. Gray will play it wide to Sheedy. Now then, just outside United penalty area, back to Bracewell. Bracewell turns the ball out to the right. Sharp is there. Flag goes up straight away. Good running by Sharp there for the cross. But the linesman's red flag went up immediately. So it's a free kick for offside to Manchester United. And again, Moran just backheels the ball casually but safely to Gary Bailey. Bailey, a long look down inside that Everton half, and the ball lands inside that half. Back header again from Stapleton, who's beaten Mounfield. Hughes will find Whiteside. Whiteside tries to bore his way through. Good decision by the referee, because it was good defensive work by Everton, and Whiteside flung himself on the ground looking for the decision. The referee just shakes his head. I've seen it all before. So good decision, I thought. Ball with Southall once more, and again signalling upfield with that huge left palm of his, and kicks it right-footed. Not quite so long this time, but still inside the United half. Drops to Stephen. Stephen looking for some running from Reed, but McGrath again had read it, but a little bit slow, and Reed comes in and at least makes sure it goes into touch and doesn't allow McGrath a free hit of the ball. So Alberston, the only Manchester United player in history to win 2 FA Cup winners' medals after Alberston, in 77 and again in 83, of course. A tangle of bodies below us. The ball will go into touch off the legs of Gary Stevens, so Alberston will take the throw again for United. Little back header again from Stapleton. He's done well with his little fix with his head, but Bracewell beats Mark Hughes, the young player of the year. Sheedy forward, Sharp's offside again. Good defensive tactics by United. It only takes a second or two to get it right. And the referee now is, I think, going to take a name. And he is calling somebody over, and I think he may well have taken Andy Gray's name. And Brian Robson coming over. I'm not quite sure who the name he's taken. We'll just sort this out for you in a moment. You see what happened there, Trevor?
Looks like Brian Robson, actually. wasn't it? Brian went in a bit late when Kevin Sheedy played the ball. I think that was the one.
Sheedy takes the free kick then. And the header comes in from McGrath. I must confess I was following the ball when that happened, and Robson was there and Gray was there, and Gray marched away. I thought it might have been him after the discussion with Mr. Willis earlier on. So it's still 0-0 with 10 minutes to half-time here. Alberson again takes the throw. Again Stapleton with that trusty head, but he drops to Sheedy. Sheedy is tangled in there with red United shirts. The ball is cleared and just goes into touch before Stapleton can use that head once more. Throw in then to Everton. Gary Stevens finds Reed. Reed plays it square. Radcliffe chips the ball forward. Gray with the header. Back to Stephen. Stephen down the Everton right. Cross will come in. Looking for Sharp. Sharp back header. Gidman belts it over his goal line across the photographers. It's a corner to Everton. And shouts now, particularly from the left-hand side. That's above the tunnel where the players come out and where the cup will disappear around about 5 to 5 this afternoon, if of course there's no extra time. And should that not resolve the situation, then we all come back here next Thursday for the replay. Everton the champions against Manchester United. And Everton have the free kick, and it's played to the near post, headed up in the air by Stapleton, who's gone back as a defender. And it's still in play, and again the cross comes in. And this time it's Gidman heads the ball away. Finds Strachan. Still, though, deep inside his own half. Hughes. Good ball to Olsen, trying his luck down the right. Little Day now. Feet-footed down the right. And he's going well. He's going round Bracewell. Bracewell will come back and bite a second time. Olsen tries the cross. Strachan goes spinning to the ground. And Everton clear. They find Bracewell. Bracewell's challenged by Olsen. Still holds the ball, though, Bracewell. Then gets himself out of trouble. Does well, Bracewell, there. And then Everton give it away. Alberston. Stapleton. Back then to Alberston from Moran. Alberston below us, cuts the ball in field. Little chip from Robson. Whiteside has difficulty in controlling it, but does so. Olsen. Olsen plays it wide to the right back. Gidman halfway inside the Everton half. Gidman little through ball to Strachan. Strachan tight to the far touchline. He's only got Gidman to use. Gidman does a good dummy run for him to give him a little bit more space. Chips it through the space. Still just inside the Everton half. Hughes. Strachan with a cross. Headed away by Stevens. Did well. Positioned himself well. Reed, short, squat figure Reed, and he runs himself into trouble though, runs himself into touch. He did well to take possession. 7 minutes to half-time. Everton 0, Manchester United 0. It's just the seesaw ding-dong battle that everyone predicted. Gidman waits to take the throw, looks for a couple of options, hasn't got too many at the moment. Behind him a huge red, white and black Manchester United flag to give him a little bit of inspiration if he needs it. Gidman then throws down the touchline. Hughes, strong, powerful figure of 21-year-old Mark Hughes, done so well for club and country this season. Gidman tries to go through the gap, obstructed surely. Yes, says the referee. Pulls one arm high to make it clear it's an indirect free kick. A couple of yards outside the Everton penalty area. And to the right, as United look at it, Southall is a little reluctant to give the ball away, quite naturally, until his defenders have sorted out their formation. So everybody now, except Trevor Stephen, is defending for Everton. He's almost in the centre circle. Every other blue shirt is back, helping out Neville Southall. Lots of shouts now from the right-hand side of the ground, from Manchester United. 0-0. Gidman spots the ball up very carefully. It's about a yard, no more, outside the Everton penalty area. And Gidman has to take the ball back another couple of yards. Peter Willis just signals that. Now Gidman's right, always his jersey outside his shorts. John Gidman, here he comes. The free kick comes across the area. Robson comes up with a header. It's cleared, though. Still just outside the Everton penalty area. That must be a handball from where we were sitting. No, says the referee. So Alberston plays it forward. Stapleton looks for a little back header. Can't. Loose ball breaks to Olsen. Back to Alberston. Alberston tries to go through the gap, but there's another player he hasn't seen. And that other player is Gary Stevens. Without any nonsense at all, plays it up into the enclosure. And that will be a throw-in to Manchester United. About 6 or 7 yards from the Everton corner flag, down the United left. Alberston still waits to take possession of the ball. He's now got it from Olsen. He finds Olsen with the throw. Now then, what can Olsen do? Jinks to go round Trevor Stephen. Ball goes into touch. Off Stephen, although he claimed it himself. No, says the referee, right on the spot. Excellent referee, Peter Willis. So again, it's a throw. Alberston again finds Olsen. Blueprint of the last throw. Finds Robson. Robson turns away from Bracewell. Oh, it's shot awful. 25 yards wide and a nothing.
It wasn't one of Brian's better ones. He swiveled very well, got past the defender and tried to hit it with his right foot, but sliced it and certainly comfortably wide of the far post. At the moment, both defences, as I say, covering well, and both sets of midfield are working back to work and hustle in front of them, and really the forwards are finding it difficult to get to those one-to-one situations that might just turn and create a chance. And at the moment, really, it's 0-0, and there haven't been many chances either.
Well, the sun begins to filter through the clouds again as Whiteside plays the ball, looks for Olsen. Again, Stevens, excellent work from Stevens. Heads the ball back to Southall. The flag, I think, had gone up in any case for an offside decision, but Stevens made absolutely certain, just in case. So Derek Mountfield, who got those vital goals in the Cup for Everton, that late equaliser in the first match with Ipswich, and that winner in extra time against Luke in the semi-final. Long ball, edge of the United area. McGrath heads the ball away. He has to be helped out by Moran, though. And Moran plays it along his own goal line to Bailey. Bailey does a little bit of applauding to Moran, and then touches the ball to Moran, who just slides it back to Gary Bailey. Bailey holds the ball again, bounces the ball once. Got his lucky charm, which he left behind in Manchester, was delivered this morning, so he was telling us. So he's all right. He hopes his team will be all right because of the lucky charm. Stevens, a long ball, but not quite so accurately at this time from Stevens. It spins into touch, and it'll be a throw in to Manchester United, deep inside their own half. And still the same score up at Hampden Park in the Scottish Cup final. 5 minutes to the half-time whistle there. Celtic 0, Dundee United 0. Here we've got a little more than 3 minutes to half-time. Everton 0, Manchester United 0. And just below us, as the sun now really does come out once more, Albiston takes the throw for United. Whiteside, strong figure of Norman Whiteside. Albiston, the chest of Stapleton. He's all chest and head so far this afternoon, Stapleton. Hughes, Robson has to turn away from Bracewell, who's snapping at his heels, then plays the ball forward with his left foot. Well, Stevens is already 6 inches taller than Olsen when he starts off, and when he jumps, he's a good couple of feet. Heads the ball into touch. Olsen takes the throw to fullback Albiston. Albiston square, stabbed forward by Robson. Well, certainly Whiteside will go to challenge, but it was always going to be Southall's ball. Whiteside will stand along Southall, as he is wont, of course, to make it more difficult. Perfectly legal, perfectly fair. Southall will stand, and then runs away from Whiteside and isn't bothered by his presence, and his clearance finds the halfway line. Loose ball to Bracewell, but his pass is picked up by Strachan, on to Robson, United's captain. Bracewell will stay with him, though, and he has to turn away, tries luck down the left. Stevens there with his head again, finds Trevor Stephen. Reed is challenged by Moran, plays it back to Mountfield, and Mountfield, under a little bit of pressure, has to play the ball into touch, which he would have preferred not to do. Albiston again with the throw, just inside his own half and below us. The throw, Hughes, challenged severely, as always, by Mountfield. Olsen, loose ball, finds Whiteside. Whiteside, 20-yard ball through the gap, finds Stapleton. Flag, yellow flag's gone up immediately. The old Arsenal man, 3 FA Cup finals with Arsenal here, Frank Stapleton. And of course that fourth final with United in 83. So back it comes, and it'll be another free kick. And both sides are being caught out by the offside trap, which is being affected most effectively by both teams. With a minute and a half to half-time. Everton 0, Manchester United 0. Long ball from the free kick. McGrath underneath it for Manchester United. Only finds Bracewell for Everton, who in turn finds Van den Hauwe. Long cross from him. Moran with a very timely header there because Gray was marauding in behind him. There could have been problems there. Good header by Moran. Olsen. Good tackle by Mountfield. Loose ball to Stapleton. Stands on the ball. Good skills by Stapleton. Hasn't got much room to move in. Did very well there to play it back to Albiston. And Albiston has no choice but to play it 25 yards. Back to Bailey, to boos from the Everton supporters. Good work, though, by Albiston. Did well there. Again, Bailey taking plenty of time in what is now the last minute of the first half here. In the 1985 FA Cup final. Still no score. Olsen. Seen a little bit more of the Danish international in the last 10 minutes. Centre circle, Robson. Robson keeps it going out to Gidman. Likes to run forward, Gidman. Now then, has he got the legs here? He's got the legs, but Sheedy's got a little bit more pace. Did well there, Sheedy. Clears a long ball. Andy Gray inside the centre circle. Played out wide towards us. Albiston, the fullback, though, picks it up. Albiston holds, plays it infield. Moran's there. Moran, who got back into the side with that late injury to Graham Hogg. Long ball forward. Whiteside's going forward there. Southall's off his line. And to be fair, Van den Hauwe and Mountfield were protecting Southall. But always a a dangerous moment when a big, strong man like Whiteside, he can burst his way through defenders. They did well to hold him out there. Southall holds as we now move into injury time here. Long clearance from Southall, but it's picked up by Olsen. Well, he wasn't quite sure what Hughes was going to do, and Hughes wasn't sure either, so they've lost it. Trevor Stephen for Everton inside his own half finds Gary Stevens, and without any nonsense plays it back again simply to Neville Southall, and he's second now. I think Peter Willis will blow the whistle. He heard what we were saying because he's done exactly that. So we've had the highly competitive, evenly balanced game I think we expected in the first 45 minutes. Defences, I think, very much on top, hardly any chances. So away the teams go to our left, and the mass bands of the Royal Marines come out. It's time for music, time for chat, time for a cup of tea, and the half-time score here at Wembley in the 1985 Cup Final is Everton 0, Manchester United 0.
And stay with us, of course, for commentary on the whole of the second half from Wembley. Still everything to play for, evenly poised, as Peter was saying there, as the Royal Marines band come back onto the pitch and the two teams go off to get fresh instructions. We're watching that first half with great interest was the former England international, Jimmy Armfield. Jimmy, to be perfectly blunt, a shade disappointing, perhaps.
Yes, but it was pretty much what I expected. The game was really sorting itself out in the middle of the field. There's been very little play in the two penalty areas because both teams are pushing out at the back and they're prepared to take the chance of the ball being knocked over the top. But the big disappointment to me has been really the lack of midfield play. And it's been noticeable, particularly Sheedy and Bracewell, who played so well in Rotterdam, have hardly got into this game as progressive players. And unfortunately, Manchester United have decided to hold Robson, as I said they may do, in front of the back four. And I don't think he plays as well there, but he's obviously there to try and check the runs of Bracewell and Reid. And consequently what's happened is we've had a little bit of a stalemate. But in the second half, when legs start to tire a little bit, I think one or two more spaces will appear.
Now, which of the two teams, in what, as you say, was a fairly deadlocked first half, which of them looked the more likely maybe to break the deadlock in the second half to you?
That's a very difficult one to answer him, because I would say that if I was Manchester United, I'd be quietly pleased at this stage, because Everton must be full of confidence, and United have held them quite comfortably, and they may be feeling that Everton's legs may be a little bit tighter because of the difficult week they've had, so United may be quietly confident, but I think they will be a little bit disappointed that Olsen and Strachan have hardly got into the game, as far as I'm concerned, as progressive players down the flanks. I think Gary Stevens at right full back for Everton has been the outstanding player afield in the first half.
Jimmy Armfield there with his comments, and while the crowd here, 100,000 people in this vast bowl of Wembley.
Here we go. That's the Everton song, and here we go again for you with the second half of this 1985 FA Cup final on a sultry afternoon now here at Wembley Stadium. Manchester United attacking the goal now, away to our right, get this second half moving. Gordon Strachan looking businesslike down this near side, tangling with Kevin Ratcliffe, the Everton captain. Ratcliffe gets the ball away, but stays down in a little agony, holding on to both of his legs at the moment. He is being helped to his feet by Gordon Strachan, the two men who were skirmishing just a few moments ago. And that's a man that Everton will not want to be without, Kevin Ratcliffe, the man that gives them so much pace at the back. Happily, he takes his place now in the Everton penalty area as John Gidman winds himself up for a throw on this near side into the penalty area. Vanden Hauwe goes in. Reid completes the clearance. It falls to Robson, and there's Robson shooting again from distance, but still not getting it on target. Ball stays in play, though, over on the far side. Whiteside keeps it in, then loses possession. Gary Stevens swings it away up to Sharp, 10 yards from the halfway line. Sharp lays it back to Reid, and then Reid spreads it wide for Andy Gray to bustle over to that far side, but can't keep it in. The yellow flag indicating throw to Manchester United midway inside their own half on that far side. The United left, back with Alderson, who took the throw. Trying to find Hughes on the halfway line. Almighty tangle with Gary Stevens, another free kick. Few too many of those so far in this match. A first half then of stalemate, no space at all, defence dominated, but maybe these 45 minutes coming up now as limbs start to tire on a hot day will open things up a little bit. Brian Robson, 10 yards inside the Everton half, tries to arrow the ball over to Jesper Olsen on the far side, and once again these two defences are starting the way they finished the first half, on top of the attacks and on top of the midfield players. None of the midfield players on either side yet really imposing themselves in this 1985 final. But Everton showed on Wednesday night in the Cup Winners' Cup. They produced a stunning second half to beat Rapid Vienna. Can they produce it again? At the moment they're having to defend as Frank Stapleton goes through powerfully. Good challenge though by Everton. And they get it away now to Trevor Stephen. Stephen looks up. Tries to find Andy Gray. Gray gets a header to it, but he's being put under pressure from Moran. McGrath is there as well. The ball is back with Gary Bailey, and it's here we go again, Trevor. Defensive really at the moment showing their mettle.
Yeah, well, they played a long ball again there. Andy Gray got the touch on with his head, but Graham Sharp and him are a little bit isolated in this match. None of the really midfield four, Trevor Stevens, Kevin Sheedy and Peter Reid and Paul Bracewell, have really got forward to join those two, and it's gone so far and then the ball's broken down. I think they've got to push up one or two of those midfield four to give the better support to Sharp and Gray, really.
Nearly played 3 minutes already of the second half, and it's still 0-0, and Everton are attacking the goal away to our left, and that's the end occupied by all their fans, the tunnel end of this Wembley Stadium. Undoubtedly both managers, Howard Kendall and Ron Atkinson, would have had plenty to say at half-time, and this perhaps one of those finals to be settled by one moment maybe. It's as tight as that. It could be just the one goal. If Manchester United are going to do it, they'll have to beat the most difficult team in the country, Everton, no question about that. But will Everton have the stamina after Wednesday night? We'll see. Kevin Sheedy with a free kick. Andy Gray going in with McGrath. Andy Gray couldn't direct the header forward, but Everton are still pressing. Peter Reid 30 yards from goal. Great challenge by Brian Robson, straight in on Reid. Reid, Stephen this time, lays it back into the centre circle to the only man inside the Everton half, Ratcliffe. Ratcliffe looks to this near side, trying to find Kevin Sheedy, who's gone forward. Manchester United has also come forward, and it's offside yet again.
Well, Andy Gray and a couple of the Everton lads having to go to the referee, because in fact it was a super free kick from Kevin Sheedy, and Andy Gray had got a yard on his marker, Paul McGrath, and he definitely got a little nudge there on the cross. And Andy Gray sprinted about 40 yards to complain that he hadn't got the penalty, and certainly I don't think they'd have had anything to moan about United if it had been given.
Not very much goal-mouth incident then yet so far. A tactical battle as Everton trying to get through again, and this time once again they're offside. Trevor Stephen was the man offering himself inside the United half, and already continental style Manchester United have taken the free kick quickly, but Peter Willis doesn't like that. He likes things done by the book, and he wants the free kick taken from the right spot in the centre circle. And now Whiteside to this near side. Stapleton going on a little run now, playing as the right winger. Gets a cross in. Mark Hughes tries to knock it down to Brian Robson. First time from Brian Robson. Not an easy one for him to take. It bounced rather badly for him, and he had to really hit it almost over his shoulder. And although Brian Robson perhaps should come in for some criticism in the first half for not getting it on target, I think that was a moment where it would have taken some absolutely super skill to get that one anywhere near the goal, Trevor. He was wide, of course.
It was not dissimilar to the goal Mark Hughes actually scored against Wales, was it? Mark Hughes nodded it back and Brian Robson on the edge of the area. It bounced up and Mark surprised us all by giving that scissor kick volley, but unfortunately Brian couldn't keep that one down.
Kevin Sheedy now blasts the ball over to the far side. Great covering work though by Arthur Albiston, and then he ruins it all by giving it away to Gary Stevens, and Stevens is trying to go round the back now the long way. Can he keep the ball in? He wanted to, but his legs couldn't take him there, and it's the throw in to Manchester United. Arthur Albiston, the quiet man of the Manchester United team, very rarely see him have a bad game though. He really is Mr. Reliable at the back of that defence, and he's now taking the throw for Manchester United. Hughes juggling, trying to get round, but it's so tight for him. Reid has taken it off him. Andy Gray tries to be a little bit too clever there, and Manchester United trying to come away now. Moran hit and hope really, but manages to find a colleague, and they have some space now with Gordon Strachan 10 yards in on this near side the right. Haven't seen very much yet of little Strachan. Hasn't had too much room with Gidman tight to the line. Finds Strachan in space. Strachan trying to get Stapleton moving. Great determination from Whiteside, and now Stapleton does have it. First time into the area, headed away by Gary Stevens to this near side. Pat Van Den Houw keeps it in just in the left back position. Slants it now up to Graham Sharp. Little back header from Sharp for Gray. Sharp and Gray, the combination, the roommates, the golf partners, the two goal scorers up front. And Everton now with some freedom on the far side until Gary Stevens slips at a vital moment. And now Albiston to Brian Robson, 25 yards from goal, inside left position. Still Robson, square to Strachan, edge of the area. Strachan just plays a little bit too much football. And Bracewell now in acres of space, unusual for this final. A through ball to Trevor Stephen over on the far side, the right. Stephen is trying to make it and does. Keeps it in and drifts in field now. Attacking the area. Gets the cross into the back post. It's a little bit too far wide of Graham Sharp. Sharp still has it on the floor. Gets it in first time. Whiteside heads it to this near side to Sheedy. Sheedy goes round Strachan. McGrath coming in. Sheedy can't beat McGrath, and he can't beat Whiteside either. What a revelation Norman Whiteside's been. From a goal scorer to a midfield player, now having to play as a defender at the moment. Youngest man to ever score an FA Cup final 2 years ago at 18, and now as a 20-year-old, showing a very different side to his game, Whiteside. Still 0-0 here in this cup final of 1985, and we've played 7 minutes of the second half, 52 minutes gone. Andy Gray going up with Kevin Moran over on the far side, and the defender beats the attacker, and that is the story so far here at Wembley. Throw into Everton, midway inside the Manchester United half, down that far side. Everton right, Stevens to Peter Reid. Everton always look for Reid to give them possession. Reid to Gray. Gray back to Bracewell. Midway inside the United half. Bracewell trying to pick up Sheedy on this near side, and the defenders are winning it again. Gidman forces it out. Maybe it is going to be just one moment. Maybe sheer inspiration, maybe defensive weakness, which might settle this. Paul McGrath heads it out for a corner kick on this near side. Everton's first of this second half. And it's the former Burnley man, Trevor Steven, coming to this near side to take it. The man who really killed off Rapid Vienna on Wednesday night in the Cup Winners' Cup final. What a season it's been for Trevor Steven. With the right foot, the corner. Bailey doesn't come for it. Lets Whiteside head it away. Still United trying to clear, and Hughes just blasted anyway, really, up to the centre circle. And Evertonian there, the captain Ratcliffe. And that was a little bit unintelligent because United were coming out. They tried to play it to Gray in the air. Might have been more sensible to play it on the floor. Everton move, breaks down, and United. Albiston has already made 25 yards down the far side, the left. Playing a 1-2 with Alston, and Albiston keeps moving, and this is interesting. Albiston square, Ratcliffe just gets it away. Kevin Ratcliffe, wonderful positional sense, is always there for Everton at the back. Hasn't put a foot wrong this afternoon. United throw, 18 yards from goal. On the left, Jesper Olsen and Brian Robson. It's all a little bit too clever really. Little bit too tight. It's a throw to Everton, and Bracewell deciding to go back to Neville Southall so that Everton can launch themselves from the goalkeeper.
Yeah, one or two gaps though starting to appear, Mike. The game opening up, so Arthur Albiston pushed forward there, and I think certainly if you can get the fullbacks, Gary Stevens has made 2 or 3 more runs than he did in the first half. I don't think the fullbacks, if they start to come, it should get exciting.
And Graham Sharp has been released, has he, edge of the area? No, Robson tackles it away, and Whiteside. And now Strachan. United bring it forward through the midfield. Strachan to this near side for the young player of the year, Mark Hughes. And what a great crunching tackle I could almost feel from this box from Ratcliffe on Hughes to get it away. And United have already taken the throw. It is as though, as Trevor was saying, a little more open now at the start of the second half, a little bit more space. And that is obviously going to make for some fine entertainment. The match not yet living up to the star billing, but still a long way to go. Robson, superb ball, 30 yards over the far side to Albiston, left edge of the area. Albiston onto Ratcliffe's head with Stapleton threatening. Sheedy to complete the clearance in the left back position. Might have to opt for safety first here because Stapleton is closing him down. Does well though, Sheedy. Finds Bracewell. Bracewell first time up to Sharp. Lovely work from Sharp on the ground to take it away from McGrath. Needs some support though now, and it's there through Vanden Houwe, the left back. Tucks it back inside to Bracewell. Oh, it is so competitive in midfield. Brian Robson, who's already been booked in this match, has been penalised for a late challenge on Paul Bracewell. Bracewell stayed down after it. He's won himself the kick. It's only about 1.5 feet from the halfway line inside the Everton half, and Reid decides to advance upfield and allow his captain, Kevin Ratcliffe, to take it.
That was a bit harsh, Mike, actually, because Brian Robson had a super tackle there, and he had every right to be disappointed.
Ratcliffe's free kick, looking for Gray. Gray knocks it down, and Robson clears it, and that's the story. Now Reid, inside right position. Does ever so well to find Gary Stevens on the right, and Stevens' final ball lets him down. Jimmy Arthur was talking about that on Wednesday in Europe. His final ball sometimes is disappointing. Now a chance though for Reid, coming down the goal line, in the area, lays it square to Sheedy. Andy Gray, just wide. The closest to a goal in this second half. Andy Gray, wide of Bailey's left-hand post, though Gary Bailey's positional sense was good there. I think he was aware of the situation. A token gesture from him, really. I think he knew that wasn't going to find the back of the net, but still explosive stuff from Everton.
Yeah, good pull back by Peter Reid, and as it happens, Andy Gray was standing behind Kevin Sheedy, and I think he gave him a late shout, and Kevin Sheedy just deflected it enough to put Andy Gray's shot off, and although I must admit it was with his right foot, Andy, and he'd have preferred it on his left.
It is better, much better though, this second half. Little bit of niggle there in the midfield between Brian Robson and Paul Bracewell, the two men who clashed just a couple of minutes ago. Peter Willis will need to impose himself here then, maybe, as one or two players perhaps start to get a little frustrated. Free kick has been taken, and Strachan tries to find Gidman down this near side, the Manchester United right. Too far in front of Gidman. Good tidying up work by Vanden Houwe. Sharp and McGrath. Clash. Andy Gray has been released, has he? No, he hasn't. The play will have to come back. Well, I don't know how Peter Willis really managed to sort out that clash. It was really 6 of one and half a dozen of the other, but it's gone Everton's way. Manchester United are retreating in number. Everton have the free kick, 10 yards inside the Manchester United half, 10 yards in on this near side. The Everton left, just to the left of the red carpet, awaiting the winners, perhaps at 20-5, or who knows, maybe even later, extra time, perhaps the possibility now. It is so tight. But it's not tight anymore in the Scottish Cup final at Hampden Park. They have had a goal at last. And Dundee United, who've never won the Scottish Cup, have taken the lead against Celtic through Stuart Beattie. 0-0 at half-time. And now it's Celtic 0, Dundee United 1. And at the moment, Norman Whiteside and Graham Sharp have been called over by referee Peter Willis. The free kick will have to be taken again because evidently there was a little bit of nastiness between those two players. It's been smoothed over. Ratcliffe drifts the free kick and it's straight at Bailey. Bailey holds it 10 yards from goal by the penalty spot, above his head, and clears quickly. Trying to get Hughes moving, but Mountfield comes in like a tank and heads it powerfully forward, just to show that he can defend as well as score goals, Derek Mountfield. Howard Kendall asked him to get 5 goals this season. He's got 14. So perhaps next season, if he asks him to get 10, he'll get 30. United now. Chance to break, no. Mountfield's there again with a 2-footed interception. Forces the ball over to the far side. Moran's taken the throw already. All the way back to Arthur Albiston. Everton's fans away to the left. Don't like that. They want to see the ball played a little more positively. Anyway, Bailey's got it. Away to our left in the green jumper. Those goalkeepers in the green. 2 international keepers. Top quality players. Vanden Howe. Not very stylish for a cup final. Straight up in the air. Trevor Stevens underneath it first. Gary Stevens was played in trouble with Jesper Olsen bearing down. Now Reid in the centre circle heads it forward, and there's not a lot of composure being shown out there at the moment. It's being played in the air too much. McGrath clears anywhere. Stevens, that was skillful. To the far side. It might not just run though for Paul Bracewell, even though he's challenging hard on Paul McGrath. Everton fans the way to the left, appeal for a throw-in. It's a United throw though, deep in defence. Albiston with it. Back to McGrath, almost by the corner flag. Now back to Albiston. Cannons off Stephen, but it breaks United's way. Whiteside plays it into the Everton half. A testing one here for Ratcliffe, who dwelt a little bit too much on the ball there, with Mark Hughes coming in on the blind side, but Ratcliffe recovered magnificently. And Sheedy will surely go back. He does indeed. 30 yards to goalkeeper Neville Southall. Safety first tactics at the moment, Trevor, from both sides.
Yes, I think Kevin Ratcliffe there nearly got caught out by Mark Hughes, but I think the second half is much more entertaining. I think it's beginning to build up, and the next half an hour I think we could see the sort of game that we were hoping it was going to be.
Action replay, this time Paul McGrath at the other end, away to our left, uses goalkeeper Gary Bailey. Already then under half an hour to go in this FA Cup final, and remember, if it's still goalless, we'll have extra time for you, and then if we still don't have a winner after that, we'll all be back again on Thursday night. Well, the country seemed to be absolutely divided. Nobody could separate these two sides right up until kick-off. And really, it's impossible to separate them at the moment. Neither side really on top here. The two defences, Kevin Ratcliffe marshalling Everton, and Kevin Moran, who really has justified his selection today, you have to say that. Tough for Graham Hogg, but Moran hasn't put a foot wrong. On the ball at the moment, deep inside his half, and looks to this near side to John Gidman. Gidman, a little lob to Stapleton. Stapleton tries the headwork to Strachan. Defender wins the day again. Strachan wants to throw, it's Everton. 5 yards from the halfway line on the left. Vanden Howe, Sharp goes up with McGrath. And what's happening is that the strikers are beating their men in the air, but they're not finding colleagues. Such is the pressure coming in from the central defenders. Bracewell, inside his own half. Bad ball to Stephen. Put him in trouble. Everton recover. And now there's a chase on. Andy Gray is steaming in with Kevin Moran. A real threat as the two players hit the turf, 20 yards from goal. Andy Gray going in as always where angels fear to tread. One of the bravest centre forwards around. But Kevin Moran is going to stand there and stand firm all afternoon. And there was no way through for Andy Gray. United now coming on the far side. Olsen hasn't really had too much chance to run with the ball. Olsen, for the most part, has just been laying things off. Ratcliffe, and Mountfield rather, beat Stapleton easily. So then his ball is hurried, straight into touch. Midway inside their half, Manchester United with a throw. 17 minutes gone in the second half. And still we wait for a goal here at Wembley in this 1985 FA Cup final. Everton, remember, want this one for that unique, unprecedented treble. League champions, Cup winners, Cup holders. Manchester United want it for the prestige and everything else that goes with being FA Cup holders. And Mark Hughes, a through ball for Norman Whiteside. It's Whiteside against Ratcliffe. And Neville Southall. Well, only really a handful of goalkeepers perhaps could have done that. Diving at Whiteside's feet, spreading himself 15 yards from goal. And Whiteside smothered by Southall, showing us why there, in that incident, he has become the footballer of this year. And that is so typical of Southall because he hasn't really had to do too much this afternoon. But that's his forte. When he is called into action, he never lets them down. And Everton, spurred on by that goalkeeping, are now trying to get forward themselves. But this time, the ball played far too much in front of Andy Gray. And Gray just calling back to the midfield that he wants better service than that. Stapleton to Hughes, midway inside the Everton half. Strachan takes it over. Referee gets in the way. Now Whiteside again, having been thwarted by Southall. Hughes, but he's very deep for a centre forward. Has to turn it 25 yards to his left to Albiston, and this is better now for Manchester United. The chance for Olsen to attack Stevens. He does do. He's round Stevens. He can't get round the other man, Trevor Stevens, who pops up at both ends of the field to great effect, Stevens. And it was his interception. And it's a throw. Olsen, the cheeky man, wanted to take a corner. It's a throw. Already taken. Albiston to Brian Robson inside left position. Whiteside tries a little chip. Gary Stevens grows and heads it away. Trevor Stevens defending, and Neville Southall making it possible for him. Receives it from Trevor Stevens. 19 minutes gone. Who on earth is going to win the FA Cup in 1985? It would take a brave man at this stage to forecast that, I think. Neville Southall clears. Andy Gray just knocks it down. Sharp tackling with McGrath. Kidman fires it to this near side, and there wasn't a man on the right here to take that. Strachan was in field, so it's a throw to Everton. Vanden Hauwe takes it. The Manchester United fans at the moment may be winning the battle of the supporters. They're making themselves heard away to our right. United the closest to a goal in the last few minutes through Norman Whiteside, but magnificent anticipation and bravery from Neville Southall. United possession, 10 yards from the halfway line. Jesper Olsen curves it with the left foot to Albiston's path, just a couple of yards inside the Everton half. Now Robson. This is patient build-up from Manchester United, but Everton are getting back in number, and Olsen's having to carry the ball now to this near side, the right. Oh, he couldn't stretch. Sheedy could to take it off him, and find Gray. Back with Sheedy again. Puts his foot on the ball, holds it, and now finds Andy Gray again. Gray looking to play a 1-2 with Bracewell. Instead it's back with Reed. Launches so many Everton attacks, Reed, and now he's found Sheedy on this near side, and Strachan, like a little whippet, takes it away from Sheedy. Scotland beating the Republic of Ireland there. Strachan, Scottish Cup winner for the last 3 years, wanting to climax his first season south of the border with an FA Cup medal. Well, he may still do it, but we've got a long way to go yet. Another free kick, and Graham Sharp puts his hands together and applauds the referee. A touch of irony there from him. And it's an Everton free kick, and we look at Kevin Sheedy, because when it's an Everton free kick on the left, he is always the man to claim it. He's about 22, 23 yards from goal, left angle of the area, gets the cross in, McGrath heads it away, Kidman to complete the clearance. No, Whiteside stabs it forward. Ratcliffe in inside his own half, the only Evertonian there. Long ball from Ratcliffe, food and drink for Gary Bailey. The final delivery sometimes from the back has been a bit disappointing, a little predictable. Moran takes a short ball from Bailey, looks to this near side, and the former Everton man John Gidman is there. And it's a slow build-up from the back again, because Moran's got it in the D, edge of the area, and it's back with Gary Bailey. Not a terribly inspired bit of play, that. Now Bailey to go with the kick. Almost penalised there, almost outside his area, but his good kick has found Stapleton, and Strachan takes it over. Can Strachan find Olsen what he wanted to, but Gary Stevens closed it down quickly. Back with Neville Southall. Where on earth is a goal going to come from in this final, if indeed we are going to have one today? It's that sort of an afternoon, it's so very, very tight. Southall clears. Gray, neither player, Gray nor Moran, get it, so it falls to Stephen on the floor. Peter Reed now, but Reed can't turn, Robson won't let him. Has to go square, far side, Stevens. Bracewell, a chance for him to run at McGrath, comes inside, steps inside, still Bracewell. Bad ball, Whiteside cuts it out. Can Stapleton take it cleanly? He tries to through the centre circle. Ratcliffe blocks his path. Stapleton's gone down in agony. Ratcliffe is attending him. United take a free kick quickly, but they'll have to come back because Frank Stapleton will require attention. United then eventually will have a free kick. And let me tell you that they have had that goal, of course, in Scotland, where Stuart Beattie has given another Dundee United, the lead against Celtic. It's Celtic 0, Dundee United 1. But here at Wembley, it's Everton 0, Manchester United 0. Are we heading yet again for FA Cup final extra time? Or I wonder, is Peter Jones going to have the pleasure of describing a winning goal for you? Peter.
Thanks, Michael. It might be easier to broadcast up here than it would be to score a winning goal here, because both defences have been absolutely iron hard this afternoon, and most effective. Stapleton is now back on his feet again. An iron man, Stapleton, and it was good to see Kevin Radcliffe as the challenge came in and Stapleton went down, just going over with a quick apology. Stapleton trots away, and Manchester United will take the free kick 2 or 3 yards inside their own half and inside the centre circle. Everybody now, almost everybody, except Gary Bailey and McGrath inside the Everton half down there to our right. Free kick, edge of the area, cleared by Van den Haal. Strachan will come in for the loose ball. He's got an awful lot of work to do, little Strachan. He's only a yard from the near touchline, but he's won the throw off the legs of Kevin Sheedy. And it'll be John Gidman who will come across to take the throw. Again, wipes the ball as he always does on the chest of his jersey, gets the proper grip on it. He'll wind himself up for the long throw inside that Everton penalty area. And just to prove me wrong, this time throws it short to Robson. Robson with the cross. Headed away again well by Everton. Stevens back there. Good positional work by Trevor Stephen, and runs all of 25 yards, almost reaches the halfway line. Back to his right back, Gary Stevens. He's been absolutely impeccable so far, Stevens. The boos simply because he played the ball back, which is the simple, sensible thing to do. He really has been splendid, Everton's right back. Back to Southall, who made that excellent save just 5 minutes ago from Norman Whiteside, who is steaming through for Manchester United. Ball again deep inside United half. Good challenge comes in from McGrath on Andy Gray. A loose ball will find Albiston. Albiston clears only as far as Reid. Reid holds it tight for Everton. Comes away from the challenge from Olsen. Comes away from a second challenge. Can't get through McGrath though. McGrath clears, still though outside the United penalty area. Sharp feeds Stephen. Stephen with the cross, headed away by McGrath again. Still Everton though in possession. Bracewell lets it run on. Van den Haal, little slip ball forward. And Sheedy will try the cross looking for Gray. Gray gets the header in. Bailey comes off his line before Gray can come in for the kill. Olsen. Stapleton halfway inside the Everton half. Again to Olsen. Plays it forward. And the ball will run into touch. And it will be an Everton throw. 25 minutes gone here. 20 minutes to go in the 1985 FA Cup final. Everton with the throw down the line looking for Gray. Cleared once more by Moran. Stephen lets it run on. Andy Gray far side down the Everton right. With his left foot the cross comes in. Edge of the United penalty area. Half cleared by Gidman. Strachan goes back to help out. Finds Whiteside. Central defender at the moment. Plays the ball deep. Stapleton will run, but there's plenty of time for Ratcliffe. And knowing that Stapleton's roaring behind him, again does the simple. Plays it back to Southall. Southall running the ball almost onto his own white penalty spot. Bounces the ball once. Comes out to the edge of his penalty area. Right-footed. High into what now is a fairly grey sky, but a very warm afternoon here. Still 0-0 in this cup final at Wembley. Ball far side with Albiston. Difficult ball for Hughes. Did well there to find Olsen. Olsen hasn't got much room to move in. Finds Hughes, but there are 3 Everton defenders. But ball runs loose. Olsen. Hughes trying to burst through, and Hughes has burst through. The cross comes in, comes off the defender. Corner to Manchester United. And Hughes, even in a 50-50 situation, he's so strong, particularly strong in the shoulders and the legs, he can burst through a defender. Mansfield did well. So Strachan will trot across to take the corner for Manchester United. It's down their left, far side from us, still 0-0. And everybody packing the Everton penalty area. Southall on his line. Strachan takes it short to Olsen. Olsen to Strachan. Strachan plays it square. McGrath back to Strachan. A chance here for Stapleton. Deflects off a defender. Ball on the edge of the Everton penalty area. Now then, what can Hughes do with this? Hasn't got much room to move. He's challenged, and the linesman says that was an illegal challenge by Van den Haal. And Van den Haal is known as Psycho to his friends, because when a decision goes against him, he never shouts or remonstrates. He simply stares with cold eyes, and he did that then to the linesman. Linesman was not moved. Free kick to United. A yard in from the near touchline, close to the Everton corner flag. Pressure now on the league champions. Strachan with the free kick. The header comes in again, bounces inside the Everton penalty area, and finally cleared into touch. A little bit of desperation by Everton, but nevertheless thoroughly effective. Gidman waits to get the ball from the ball boy. Now gets the ball halfway inside the Everton half. Down the United right, beckons the players to move a little nearer to him. Tries to find Stapleton. Van den Hauwe heads the ball back into touch. Another throw to Gidman. He's gained about 25 yards. Again wipes the ball on his jersey. This time I would think probably it will be one of the long Gidman specials. Here it comes, and it's long inside the area. Didn't go far enough though. Ball cleared once more by Everton. Sharp hasn't got many options. Tries to find Bracewell and got it wrong. Strachan. Gidman just below us down the United right. Good challenge comes in though by Sheedy. And Sharp plays it back. Doesn't give Van den Hauwe an awful lot of chance to do anything at all. So he again does the sensible and turns and plays it back to Neville Southall. Southall again holding the ball. And 20 players now are in the mid-third of the pitch. The ball drops inside the area. Moran beats Gray. Ball played back again though. Sharp and Moran together. So is McGrath. Sharp tries desperately to get it square. Can't. Strachan picks it up. Bracewell falls. So Strachan goes through. And then stumbles just at the last minute and gives Radcliffe no problems in the end. Looked just dangerous just for a moment. Going past the brown scorch mark that one of the model aeroplanes made earlier on this afternoon before the game started. And there's a little bit of problem. The aircraft crashed to the ground. Model aircraft, I hasten to add. Kick again from Southall. Shouts of champions from the Everton supporters to our left. League champions, European Cup winners, cup holders. And there's going to be a booking this time for Andy Gray. I'm sure it's for one or two things that have been said. Great competitor, Andy Gray. And so his name goes in the book. And at the moment, Frank Staples comes off for a change of shorts. Well, there you are. You see that very often at Twickenham, not too often on soccer pitches. And Frank Staples takes one pair of shorts off, puts another new pair of white shorts on. And Stapleton goes back into the fray, new shorted. Free kick is taken for Manchester United. They have possession almost on the halfway line. Gidman in the centre circle. A little bit slow though, but he still gets the ball to Strachan. Has to play it back to McGrath. McGrath inside his own half. Forward to Strachan. Strachan's run well. Van den Hauwe runs even better. Claim from Strachan that Van den Hauwe's leg was a bit high in the challenge. Referee Peter Willis doesn't agree. McGrath heading it forward. Strachan comes back to battle for it. Reed's too strong for him. And then Reed, challenged by Robson, plays it back to Southall.
Well, certainly at the moment, I mean, they're so evenly matched. But if anyone, I think United just have the edge. Mainly from the point of view they're getting more men forward to support the front lads. Everton, when they get possession, you just see Sharp and Gray, and they've got to hold it up and play really back to where they started because they haven't got the support running from midfield. Whereas United have those extra options. The two wide lads, Olsen and Strachan, are getting forward, and even Brian Robson is making one or two extra runs than he did in the first half. And at the moment, I think they've just got the advantage.
We've got a quarter of an hour to go here, and this last 15 minutes, of course, is where tired limbs will tell. Bracewell for Everton, and he slips. Doesn't think he was going to pick up the ball. It was a good position, too, for Bracewell, but he slipped, and United will take possession. Whiteside glances off the legs of Sheedy. No danger for United, though, because Gidman was there. Gidman wastes the ball. Strachan was in a good position for him, and the pass was wrong, and Van den Hauwe takes the resultant throw in for Everton. Sheedy. Gray chests the ball down, and then just as he's challenged by Stapleton, the ball will run into touch, so it'll be another throw in to Everton. Remember, Everton has the game in Rotterdam on Wednesday. Well, disappointing opposition provided, though, by Rapid Vienna. Wasn't as hard a game as it might have seemed when they first went off to Rotterdam. But nevertheless, it was a European game, and it must have taken a lot out of them, both mentally and physically. But there they are down there looking for the unique treble. But United with Robson, and the flag goes up immediately as Hughes marauding forward. And from where we are directly behind the linesman. Perfectly correct decision. Offside, free kick to Everton.
Yes, I think just as well Everton let the back lad Ratcliffe pushed up, and because they were outnumbered, Frank Stapleton was well placed wide of Brian Robson on the right, and really Offside was the best bet they had to break the attack down.
McGrath again with a strong positive header, clears his line, still though outside the area. Trevor Stephen forward. Gidman with an overhead kick clears for Manchester United. It's a little bit frantic now, and a mistake here could perhaps cause, well, the misery and the joy for either side. Ball just outside the Everton half, played back by Reed. Perhaps just the element of tiredness creeping in on one or two of the Everton players. Maybe just that one thinks that from up here. Hughes holds off the challenge strongly. Get inside his own half. Olsen just below us. Olsen skitters away from the defender. Through the legs. Finds McGrath. McGrath lost it. Reed. And the ball is laid forward. And that'll be a free kick for the challenge on Reed, and Andy Gray suggesting that the ball should have been allowed to go forward. Kevin Moran's name will go in the book. Reed went spinning into the air. It was a bad mistake by United, and it was 2 against 1. And Kevin Moran's name goes in the book. Reed is still down on the ground. So Moran is booked. And it certainly was a 2 against 1 situation. 2 Evertonians and 1 Manchester United player. And so the name goes in the book. And in fact, Peter Willis is having a few... Could he win? Well, at the moment, Peter Willis is standing there, and there's an argument among 4 United players, and Kevin Moran, and Frank Stapleton, and now we do not know what is going on at the moment, but Peter Willis is coming across, and he's coming away from the players. It looks as if Kevin Moran may well be sent off here. Kevin Moran is in tears, Robson's there with him, and Peter Willis, I think, is sending off Kevin Moran. Could this be the first ever sending off in a Wembley Cup final? Kevin Moran is absolutely shattered here. Kevin Moran, who fouled Peter Reed, seems as if he was being booked, and Moran cannot believe it. And indeed Peter Reed now I see is coming over for condolences to Kevin Moran, the Irishman. Well, we've got still 11 minutes to go, and United are down to 10 men. There have been so many dramatic moments here. Ron Atkinson's gone onto the pitch, and Moran is sent off by Peter Willis for the tackle on Peter Reed. And as I say, to be fair to Reed, he did come over with condolences for Kevin Moran. So here comes the free kick for Everton. Inside the area, Andy Gray gets it back. Gary Stevens is there. Inside the area, Trevor Stevens got it. Runs away from trouble. Back to Bracewell. Bracewell inside the area. Gidman clears. Stapleton back as a defender. What a final this could be now. A long clearance. Ratcliffe's there. Challenged by Hughes. Plays it back to Southall. Southall throws it out to Sheedy. I'll ask Trevor Brooking for a comment on that in just a moment. Kevin Moran is in tears just below us down on the bench, shaking his head. United are down to 10 men. 10 minutes to go. 0-0. Ball inside the centre circle. Booze away to our right from the United fans. But certainly, to be fair, Peter Willis had no doubts in his own mind. Reed, the man who was challenged by Moran, plays it wide. Stevens gets the return ball from Stevens. Gray finds Reed. Reed wide, Mountfield, Ratcliffe on the halfway line. It is absolute murder down there at the moment. Tremendous noise. Van den Hauwe finds Reed. Reed finds Gray. Gray back, finds Gary Stevens. Bad ball from him, Trevor Stevens. Let's calm down for a second. Let me just give you a score first of all. And up at Hampden Park, Celtic have equalised against Dundee United. Provin direct from a free kick, Davy. Provin, they'll be pleased with him there. Yeah, at Wembley the free kick is taken. Ball goes over the line. That's another free kick for Everton. Let me just repeat that score. It's a busy afternoon at the moment. Celtic 1, Dundee United 1. Davy Provin direct from a free kick. Here at Wembley, I'll hold up Trevor Brooking's comment for another minute or two, because here we've got a free kick. It's right on the edge of the Manchester United penalty area. That's a yard outside. United down to 10 men. Kevin Moran sent off. Let's see what they can do with the free kick. Free kick comes over wide, cleared by McGrath. We've got 8.5 minutes to go here. Trevor, at last, a comment on this sending off.
Well, I think in a nutshell, really, I think it was the wrong decision. Because, I mean, he left 1-1, Kevin Moran. All right, he did catch Peter Reed a bit late, but for me, there was no malicious intent and the old professional foul that we spoke about. And I think, in fact, to a certain extent, it's fought what was building up to be a real cracking match. I mean, now United have brought Frank Stapleton back. He's playing alongside McGrath. Just hesitate there. And really, Man United, have had to reorganise. Quite honestly, also, it's antagonised the whole Wembley Stadium. You can sense the atmosphere's changed. And I think it's a great shame that he had to send him off, really.
Yes, I must say, it all seems a little bit sour at the moment, but it's still 0-0. And it's a professional game. And United, I've no doubt, will battle with 10 men. Even though they may feel they were hard done by, the referee is the man who decides. And Peter Willis decided, and that's that. Now then, Strachan going forward for United. He's got two defenders with him, but Strachan's done well. The cross comes in to the far post. Robson can't get it, but he runs away and stops it from going over the line. Robson inside the area, looks for Whiteside, cleared by Bracewell. Drops to Goodman. Still halfway inside the Everton half. Still Goodman holds. Finds Strachan. Strachan, Goodman's good running by the full-back. Cross comes in from him. Edge of the area. Robson can't get the shot in. Now he can. Over the bar. Goal kick to Everton. Now then, time is of the essence here. 7 minutes to go. I see United substitute Mike Duxbury doing warming up. But now all we're getting away to our right is just a cascade of booing for that sending off of Kevin Moran. They soured the atmosphere because certainly while it hasn't been a showpiece of the game, it really has been a game of splendid defensive qualities by both sides. And I see a few more policemen now beginning to walk around the far end of the ground. That is to our right where United fans are standing. Mountfield, long ball forward from him. McGrath, challenged by Sheedy. Loose ball breaks to Strachan, challenged by Bracewell. Again McGrath's there, finds Whiteside. Whiteside, it bounces off the referee. Whiteside gets it again. Whiteside tries to find Hughes. Stevens beats him again. Beautiful work by Stevens. Albiston will pick it up though. Olsen far side for United. Into Albiston. Albiston finds Hughes. Back to Albiston. Albiston with a shot. No power. Southall's there. No problems. But a very good run by Albiston. He must have run 50 yards there. And again, the moment Everton gets possession, a whole cascade of booing from United supporters. What a great shame this. And again, I think we must underline the fact the referee is the man who's down there. And the referee said Kevin Moran goes off. Rightly or wrongly, he decides, and that was his decision. But United up against it, certainly. They've got 6 minutes to hold on. And then, of course, there would be extra time. And they really, really would have a problem then. Still 0-0. Little less than 6 minutes to go here in the 1980 Cup Final. And whatever the result, it will be remembered for that sending off of Kevin Moran by referee Peter Willis. The ball goes into touch off Sheedy. Throw into United. Well, they may be booing United supporters, but certainly they're giving their side every support they can. A whole forest of red, white and black banners to our right there from the United supporters. Hughes going forward down the right. He's got to go through two defenders. He's got away from one, flicks it to Strachan inside the area. Off Mountfield. That will be a corner to Manchester United. Mountfield spins to the ground. Off Strachan. Southall won't give the ball to Strachan to take the corner. Well, it's a little bit more than competitive now. It's highly abrasive. A corner to Manchester United when Mountfield gets back on his feet. Neville Southall organising his defenders again. We've got a little less than 5 minutes to go to full time here. Manchester United down to 10 men with Kevin Moran sent off after the challenge on Peter Reid. Strachan still waits to take the free kick. Mountfield is still in trouble. He hobbles to his feet. Referee says we'll now have the free kick. Strachan waits. He hits it with his left foot. High inside the Everton area. Robson's in there. And it will go across the goal line off Robson's left foot. The referee. Goal kick to Everton.
Well, Man United, credit to them. They're still pushing men forward, even though they're one short. And if anything, you just get the feeling that sort of final in midweek with Everton, there's one or two rolled their socks down, and they might be just as well for them they have got the extra man, because certainly United was gradually beginning to get on top, and in these last 5 minutes, but a bit of interesting now to see what happens in extra time. United with that man short, and on a pitch such as this, it is a big difference, although certainly they're still enjoying a good spell.
Whiteside again challenged by Sharp. There's quite a duel been going on all afternoon there between the Scotsman Graham Sharp and the Irishman Norman Whiteside. Another score coming in from Hampden Park, and Dundee United have taken the lead again. Frank McGarvey, the scorer. Celtic 1, Dundee United 2. That's the latest score in the Scottish Cup final. A throw in from Vanden Houwe down the line near side to us. Looks for Sharp. What a last 3.5 minutes this is going to be. And I think Celtic have just equalised up there at Hampden Park. I'll give you that in just a moment. All sorts of chaos here at Hampden Park. And it'll be a free kick. And indeed it is. Celtic 2, Dundee... Well, let's get it right. It's Celtic 2, Dundee United 1. We got the score right the wrong way round. Now we're going to get it right. As, again, Southall clears. Let me clear up that awful muddle for you. I was given the wrong score. Let me get the score right for you. Apologies for that. Celtic 2, Dundee United 1. Frank McGarvey, of course, the scorer. Celtic 2, Dundee United 1. Just to repeat it again, Celtic 2, Dundee United 1. Here at Wembley, 2.5 minutes to go. Still Everton 0, Manchester United 0. With United now down to 10 men after Kevin Moran sent off. Hughes for United, halfway inside the Everton half. Kidman, can he try the shot here? Tries the 1-2. Kidman going forward, and in the end Van den Hauwe clears for a corner. And there'll be some information just being handed to me that if it goes to a replay, then Kevin Moran will of course be allowed to play in a replay, and Peter Willis will be the referee in a replay. That could be an interesting situation, but we've still got 2 minutes to go of normal time, before extra time, before a possible replay. Strachan then will take the corner for United, far side, down their left, takes it with his right foot, looking for Stapleton, headed up in the air. Gray's back helping as an extra defender. Alberston though finds Strachan, again down to United left. Strachan holds it, plays it wide, flag goes up, offside, free kick to Everton in the last minute and a half now of normal time. And what a strain it was going to be on United if there is extra time, which it looks now as if it's going to be with just 10 men. Everton have possession, the lowest, Van den Hauwe. Van den Hauwe, 20 yards, looking for Andy Gray. McGrath fouls Andy Gray. Free kick to Everton in the last minute now of 90 minutes. Sheedy will take the free kick. Takes great care. The free kick expert, of course, for Everton. Set up so many winning positions for them this season. Sheedy with the free kick. And it'll go off the United defender. I thought, no, it hadn't. So the referee says that'll be a goal kick to Manchester United. Just to repeat that score again at Hampden Park. Celtic 2, Dundee United 1. No goals here at Hampden Park, but the drama is the sending off of Kevin Moran, who only came in late on with an injury to Graham Hogg. The Dubliner went off in tears and simply could not believe it. Van den Hauwe, plenty of time to find Mansfield, long clearance from him, too long though. And in any case, the referee brings the ball all the way back because he says that is 90 minutes. So we've had no goals in the 90 minutes, but certainly we have had drama with Kevin Moran sent off, and Kevin Moran is in tears. We can see him at this moment. The man from Dublin, he simply could not believe it when Peter Willis pointed to the touchline. Frank Stapleton tried to console him, and Brian Robson tried to console him, and to be fair, Peter Reid, the man who was involved in the collision, also came across and put an arm across his shoulder. A terrible afternoon then for the Irishman Kevin Moran, and he's still really in tears. So the players will now line up, and Howard Kendall will say the magic words. And on the far side, well, I wonder really what Manchester United and Ron Atkinson will say after 90 minutes of sending off, but no goals.
And this cup final, whatever the result, is going to go down as one of the most controversial of all time. Kevin Moran of Manchester United, the first man ever to be sent off in a FA Cup final at Wembley. And extra time here for the fourth time in 5 years. But what about Scotland? They're still playing in the 100th Scottish Cup final. Celtic against Dundee United. The latest score now from Roddy to start.
Yes, it's Celtic 2, Dundee United 1, and that mass of whistles you can hear behind comes from the Celtic support. We know that we're only a minute plus any injury time away from inscribing Celtic's name on the Scottish Cup for the 27th time in 100 finals, and how they've deserved it. They fought back from a Stuart ball. They looked down and out. They got a free kick when Murdo McLeod was brought down running across the United back four. Davy Provan took it, chipped it into the net. It was one each, and then with 6 minutes to go, Roy Aitken switched into midfield in place of Paul McStay, and driving his team like a dynamo, managed to seize onto a loose ball on the edge of the United box. He swung it across to an unmarked Frank McGarvey, and McGarvey headed beautifully into the net. And this, for all it was a shapeless first half, has turned into a marvellous advertisement for attacking and determined football. And at the moment, and I make it, that we have, with 20 seconds overtime now, and there it is. Words really are inadequate and needless. That is the sound of 50,000 Celtic supporters celebrating
The 100th Scottish Cup final, which has ended in victory for their side. It's ended in the first trophy win for manager David Hay.
United get us underway again. It's getting to be now the norm. Extra time in FA Cup finals. Gordon Strachan immediately accelerating. Inside right position. Uses the man on the far side, Gidman. Gidman crosses. Mountfield's dive heads it away. Sheedy completes the clearance to Bracewell. We must tell you that United have made a substitution. We'll get a comment from Trevor Brooking on this in just a moment. Mickey Duxbury has come on to add the height at the back now that Moran is off against the big men, Sharp and Gray. And Arthur Albiston, the man to make way. So Frank Stapleton is playing at the back alongside Paul McGrath now. Mick Duxbury in the left back position at the moment is marking Andy Gray. John Gidman over on the far side, the right. Everton at the moment just 10 yards inside the United half. Bracewell turns away from his man. Swings the ball to the near side, and there's Duxbury's first touch in the air. Heads away not too convincingly. Everton pick it up again. Trevor Stephen just down below us, 15 yards in. Uses Reid on his left. Reid now goes square to Kevin Ratcliffe. Number 4 on his back, the Everton captain. Vanden Howe on the far side, the left back, chips into the area. Bailey punches. He might have been better off catching, but he punched. Reid now, 30 yards from goal. A lot of possession at the start of this extra time for Everton. Gary Stevens with a little ball to Sheedy. Cut out by Stapleton. Good work from Stapleton at the back already in this extra time. Robson goes down with Bracewell. Free kick to Manchester United. Trevor Brooking on the substitution.
Well, I can only think that Arthur Albiston must have got a knock or a little pull because he was doing a good job. Mickey Duxbury has just slotted into his position. And Frank Stapleton is staying at the back with Paul McGrath, so really nothing's changed. I think Arthur must have just got a knock or a pull, really, Mike.
And Paul McGrath at the moment over on the far side, fancying himself as a right winger. He'll have to retreat though now. His ball was wayward into the penalty area. So an FA Cup final first that we didn't want today. Such a shame. This was a game we wanted to put the smile back on the face of British English football, being shown all over the world. But Kevin Moran sent off 10 minutes from the end for the foul on Peter Reid. That will be talked about, of course, over the next few days. You can be sure about that. Rules are rules, no question about that. But maybe an FA Cup final, common sense should prevail. Who knows? Let's just hope that it doesn't incite the crowd, because certainly the United fans away to our right were mighty angry about it. United, though, with fire in their bellies now, are trying to come back with the 10 men. And just a foot away or so from the penalty area, Jesper Olsen's been tackled, been fouled by Gary Stevens on this left side. He wants the ball because he wants to take a United free kick. Duxbury and McGrath are staying back, and although Frank Stapleton's playing as a central defender now, he's got that number 10 on his back, and he's reinforcing the penalty area alongside Hughes and Whiteside. Free kick then to Manchester United. Olsen takes it flat. Ball missed kick by Gary Stevens, but Vanden Howe completes the clearance. Balls to Paul McGrath now. On the far side. Still with McGrath. Little chip from him to Strachan inside the area. Strachan tries to take it on the head. Can't control it. Neville Southall comes out to take it. And certainly the man who was fouled in that incident that led to Moran sending off Peter Reid is unhappy and as sympathetic as anyone really on that field of play. He pleaded with the referee along with Kevin Moran and the rest of the United players as well. But Moran's off. United are down to 10 men. This at a time when stamina, of course, can play a very big part. Extra time, United's cause not helped by the fact that they're down to 10 men. So Everton, as we've been saying, did have that punishing trip in midweek into Europe. Punishing mentally, really, not physically. They had the stress to live with for those few days of having to play in a European final. 0-0 then in extra time. Manchester United's 10 men against Everton looking for the treble. 4 minutes gone already. Duxbury the substitute, just down below us, on this left for Manchester United. Tries to arc a ball into Olsen's path. Lovely covering, though, by Gary Stevens. Slides the ball out for a United throw. Olsen 10 yards from the flag to take it. Back to Duxbury. Duxbury plays it square. Robson first time up to the edge of the area. Ratcliffe heads it away, not very cleverly, to Strachan. Strachan trying to bustle through. Southall coming out of goal. Clears very quickly. Andy Gray offside, as he knows. Play is waved on. Frank Stapleton was appealing for offside. Gray heads it through to Sharp. Sharp is looking strong in the area. So too is McGrath, and so too is Stapleton. And Duxbury does well to keep the ball in play in the left-back position. And his distribution's good as well. United give it away, though. Robson regains possession. McGrath to Stapleton. United at the moment deep in their own defence. Now to Hughes on this near side. Hasn't had much chance yet in this match, Mark Hughes. Whiteside through to Olsen. Offside against Manchester United. Early extra time impressions from Trevor Brooking.
Well, United at the moment are doing quite well as they finish really at the end of the 90 minutes. Everton, whose game is built on patience and keeping possession, really at the moment haven't utilised the fact that they've got the extra man. I mean, really they've got to just keep possession and make United do the running. They're a man short and there should always be a spare man, and at the moment that's what they're trying to do, and certainly the advantage should be with Everton. When you think about it, they really want to capitalise on it in these next 25 minutes and don't really want to go to a replay next Thursday when United will be back at 11 men.
Could work both ways, of course, though, Trevor, couldn't it? United undoubtedly fired by that incident, so it's put extra heart into them, if anything, hasn't it?
Yes, I mean, I think they're working hard. I think really Everton do look a bit leggy, and I think possibly if they had 11 men, United might have gone on from strength to strength.
Oh my word, Paul Bracewell tried his luck then from 25 yards out. Gary Bailey had to go down to his right to take it. Well struck shot by Bracewell, but Bailey had good vision there. Went down to complete the save, and now will complete the clearance from the back. We've already played 6 minutes then of this first half of extra time. A goalless 90 minutes, but Manchester United, just in case you haven't heard, have had Kevin Moran sent off. The first man in an FA Cup final to be sent off. So United down to 10 men. They've made a substitution as well, and they're coming now through Jesper Olsen. Close to the area, on the left-hand side. Gary Stevens is closing him down, and Trevor Steven too. So Whiteside tries a chip to the back post. Nobody there, though. And United lacking the threat of Frank Stapleton now, of course, up front, because he's had to come back to plug that gap in the middle. United need big men at the back against the likes of Graham Sharp and Andy Gray. Peter Willis, the referee from County Durham then, sending off Kevin Moran, a man who upset the other half of Manchester actually in a league match a couple of weeks ago in the pressure cooker of the second division promotion race. He sent off Andy May of Manchester City in a game against Oldham. That didn't go down too well in the city of Manchester. This one likewise. Everton now, through Mountfield. For Gray, onto Gray's head. Can't lay it off though accurately. Stapleton to Robson. Tired ball that, and even tired of stretch by Robson to make it. But now Gidman is full of running and takes it over. 15 yards inside the Everton half. Looks to this near side. Can he make Olsen? He can. Lovely ball, and Olsen's taken it into his stride. He's going along the edge of the area. Has a second chance as it comes back to him from an Everton defender. Lays it into Robson's path. Gidman takes it up again now, and Gidman is really epitomising the spirit in this United side now. It's with Whiteside now on the left, tight to the line. Lays it into Duxbury's path to substitute. Duxbury's found Hughes in space. No, he hasn't. Well, he has, but Hughes is offside. So it'll be an Everton free kick. And one man who'll be looking very carefully and closely at this situation is England's manager Bobby Robson, because if we don't have a winner today, and there's a replay on Thursday, that will deplete his England squad to go to Finland. They'll be without some 6 players in the squad, including captain Brian Robson. Everton move breaks down again over on the far side, and it would certainly be a tough on men like Reid and Bracewell called into the England squad for the first time. They would miss out on that trip to Finland. But still, we've time enough here yet for this FA Cup final to be settled on the Saturday. But it's United with a real mountain to climb now, down to 10 men. What a pity, because Kevin Moran had not put a foot wrong. He had a superb game, and now Everton looking for the goal which might land that historic treble. Once again, run into trouble, and there's a chance for Strachan to break now for United. Into the centre circle he finds Hughes and gets it back from Hughes. The ball to Whiteside down the centre, and Everton counter. Andy Gray now, right edge of the area, a little bit slowly though, uses Trevor Steven. Steven crosses, Sheedy tries to volley, Stapleton half clears it. Steven knocks it back in again. Peter Reid, first time, over the bar. And Manchester United almost paying then. They got caught by the Andy Gray counter. But fortunately, they got enough red shirts back when it mattered.
Well, although they were called out, I mean, Andy Gray was at least 5 yards offside, Mike, and would have been a complete injustice if they'd been allowed to go on and they'd have scored. Obviously, when you've got 10 men, now and again you're going to get caught a bit short, but there's no way Andy was walking out having thought the original attacker broken down, and certainly I think he was as surprised as anyone when play continued.
9 minutes gone then in this first half of extra time here at Wembley. Manchester United 0, Everton 0. Andy Gray for the moment has beaten Frank Stapleton. Stapleton hung on to Andy Gray though, and there's Peter Willis again, stopping the play and awarding Everton a free kick. Very central, almost exactly midway point of the Manchester United half. Everton attacking the goal away to our right. Peter Reid is there, and so too is Kevin Sheedy. Little discussion between Reid and Sheedy. Reid hands on hips, I think, is going to lay it off, is he, to Sheedy? He does indeed. Sheedy now square to his left. Ratcliffe with a little floater. Oh, he's found Mountfield. Mountfield heads it down. Vanden Hauwe goes in at the far post. Pat Vanden Hauwe was wide of the target. as he went in, bravely searching for his very first goal for the club. What a story that would have been if Vanden Howard won the FA Cup for Everton. But it's a corner to Everton on this near side, and Kevin Sheedy from this position laid on a goal in Europe on Wednesday night with a corner taken from the left foot on the right, and there's Sheedy's corner again. Bailey trying to get underneath it. Bailey's missed it under enormous pressure from the big man Mountfield. Bailey is claiming that he was pushed by Mountfield. The referee upsets the Manchester United fans yet again because he has awarded a corner over on that other side. And to spare Sheedy's legs, Trevor Stephen now is going to slot this one up. Mountfield, goes without saying, has stayed up. The corner is headed away at the near post by Robson, but Everton can counter. Sheedy lays it back into Stephen's path, 15 yards from goal. Stephen attacking Gordon Strachan. Strachan slides in the right back area, gets it to Brian Robson. Robson trying to get round Vanden Howard. He's pushed down by Vanden Howard. Free kick to Manchester United. It's just as tight, and you'd never know that Manchester United were down to 10 men. It certainly isn't showing out there. Free kick to United. Only 4 minutes to go in this first half of extra time here at Wembley. We await a goal, but sadly the headline tomorrow will not be the headline that one should associate with a showpiece occasion like this. Kevin Moran sent off 10 minutes from the end of normal time for the foul on Peter Reid. Certainly a bookable offence, the professional foul. Was it a sending off offence? Well, that's open to conjecture. Gary Stevens to Trevor Stephen. Drifts in field, and he's fouled by Mike Duxbury. Free kick to Everton. 12-13 yards inside the United half as Peter Willis checks the watch. And he will notice that there is only 3 minutes to go of this first period of extra time, and we are nowhere nearer knowing the identity of this season's FA Cup holders. Gary Stevens with a free kick. Up to the edge of the area. Sharp climb. Headed away powerfully by McGrath. Had a superb match at the back for United. Second chance for Gary Stevens. On to Stevens' path, and Duxbury blocks him. Duxbury settled into this match very well since coming on at the end of normal time as a substitute for Arthur Alderson. Midway inside the United half on the Everton right, Gary Stevens throws into the box. Stapleton's climbing with Gray. And it's another free kick. Cheers and cheers away to our right as the free kick goes Manchester United's way. Any fresh thoughts, Trevor? Are you going to...
I think they'll be the only fresh things around in the stadium at the moment, if they are. But no, I think at the moment they had 5 minutes with United, probably with 10 men. They pushed forward, and then perhaps their initial burst died a bit. And Everton, the last 5 minutes, had a spell of pressure. And I think possibly both sets of sides looking for a little breather at half-time in this extra time stage.
And United are working their way down this left-hand touchline. They've got a throw. Duxbury's the man to take it. Olsen is offering himself short. Decides to throw it over Reed's head, looking for Hughes, but Mountfield has been very tight on Hughes. Second chance now for Duxbury, this time on the floor. Pushes it through to Olsen. Goes for the return ball. Hughes lays it off back into Duxbury's pass. Good work here by Duxbury. Duxbury first time across the edge of the area. Southall couldn't make it. Unfortunately for Everton, there wasn't a Manchester United man to capitalise on it. And United are one short, of course, for the most time up front now that Frank Stapleton has gone back. And Everton living dangerously there as the ball fed across the face of the penalty, and even more so there. Kevin Sheedy with almost a wayward back pass, but Neville Southall's there now to dribble it out to the edge of the area. We've only got a minute and a half or so to go now in this first period of extra time, and it remains goalless here. The afternoon has clouded over, and certainly this final has been shrouded in controversy. And McGrath, who really has played absolutely remarkably well at the back, is going to have to even more so now with Moran. Takes it off sharp, and United coming through the centre circle. Robson with his socks rolled down has found Olsen. A chance for Olsen to take on the Everton defence. Fires one in, hasn't got any power behind it. Rolls over does Neville Southall. Takes it to his right. Prefers to keep the ball in play. It would have gone wide of the post anyway. The game keeps moving. Bracewell and Reid, the midfield men. Olsen just gets a little interception in, so Everton lose that momentum. Gary Stevens lays it back to Neville Southall. 45 seconds to go in this first period of extra time. And it's just the way that it was at 3 o'clock. Everton 0, Manchester United 0, but it's Everton against a 10-man United team. Kevin Moran, the Republic of Ireland international, sent off for a foul on Peter Reid, and has never happened before in an FA Cup final. It's happened in this Wembley Stadium before, but it's never ever happened in an FA Cup final. Everton through Peter Reid to Bracewell, and Bracewell to Gary Stevens. Supplementing the midfield, Gary Stevens, and that ball is never going to reach Trevor Stephen. Duxbury allows it to go out, hits the cameraman behind Gary Bailey's goal. Certainly the cameramen here appear to be favouring Everton because there are lots more photographers behind Gary Bailey's goal than at the other
Quarters, which is a little unfortunate. Sheedy, and we're underway from Gray. Mountfield moves just inside the United half. Chips the ball inside the area. Bailey, well, catches it in the end as he was challenged by Gray. Just for a second looked a little bit uncertain. A long ball again laid deep inside the Everton half. Mark Hughes for United. Yard in from the near touchline. Starts to move in, the strong Welshman. As he was trying to find Brian Robson, he couldn't. Sheedy was there, and he finds Neville Southall. 15 minutes to decide the 1985 FA Cup final then. Or as we were saying, it's a replay all over again here next Thursday. And the headlines will be two names, I think, tomorrow. Kevin Moran, the man sent off, and Peter Willis, the man who sent him off. In the meantime, McGrath for United finds Olsen. The ball still 20 yards inside the United half. Ducks, we remember, playing in extra time for Arthur Albiston. United down to 10 men. A long ball laid forward, but no real problems there for Everton. I see a large number of constabulary starting to move away to our right, where Manchester United supporters are gathered in large numbers. They certainly will feel aggrieved by the situation. We're into the first minutes of the second period of extra time here at Wembley. Stapleton acting as a central defender now, but moving in an outside left position. Chips it forward. Good ball, finds Olsen. Olsen's in space going down the left for Manchester United. Ratcliffe stays with him. Olsen tries to weave around Ratcliffe, comes away from Ratcliffe. Robson, edge of the area, looks for the shot. Shot deflects off Mountfield. Edge of the Everton penalty area. It's cleared. Not far. Gidman picks it up for United. Yard in from the near touchline. And then the ball runs away from Gidman, shakes his head in disbelief as the ball goes into touch. Everton take the throw. Bracewell, back to Sheedy. Long ball from Sheedy, looking for Sharp and Gray together, and that's the combination that finally finds Trevor Stephen. Now United under pressure. Stephen going at Duxbury. Stevens still has the ball inside United's penalty area. Turns it back to Gary Stevens. Olsen reads it well, though, and clears for United to rapturous applause from United supporters. What a finish we're going to have here in the 85 Cup final. Reed going forward. Tries a 1-2 with Gray. Gray finds Bracewell in return. Cannons off Gidman. Reed picks it up, finds it right. Stevens there for Everton. The cross comes in from Stevens, looking for Van den Hauwe. Bailey palms the ball over for a corner. No doubt he heard Van den Hauwe coming in, and Gray too. Corner then to Everton, and they've scored lots of goals from set pieces this season, including corners of Everton. 2.5 minutes of the second period of injury time gone. Manchester United down to 10 men, 10 minutes before the end of normal time. With Kevin Moran sent off, Trevor Stephen with a corner down the Everton left, plays it to the near post looking for the back header card. Bailey fifts the ball away. And Gary Stevens gallops away to take possession once more for Everton. Finds Reed. Reed is challenged. Ball goes into touch, and Peter Reed wanting to have a little retribution there on Paul McGrath. But the referee has seen it, gives the free kick for Everton. Just for a second, Peter Reed looking as if he wanted to carry out his own retribution. And Peter Willis does it his own way by having a word with McGrath. Free kick then to Everton, yard in from the far touchline. Gary Stevens takes it, comes across straight into the arms of Bailey. Totally wasted. Applause again from United supporters. We've had now a little more than 3 minutes of the second period of extra time. Everton 0 and 10-man Manchester United 0. The ball with Olsen. Good close skills by Olsen, then darts forward, leaves it to Strachan. Strachan finds Robson, stockings round his ankles. Hughes, edge of the Everton penalty. A little shuffle by Hughes. Can he get the ball back? He can! The shot comes in and it's missed by Norman Whiteside. And that was a good build-up there. Hughes and Robson. Hughes with a cross. Whiteside there. And seemed to stumble at the vital moment. I wonder if United down to 10 men could win it. Well, it's Everton in possession. The cross comes in. Gidman's there. Cleared by McGrath. Only as far as Sheedy. Everton in possession, going towards the United goal. Sheedy again. Back to Van den Hauwe. Van den Hauwe with the cross. Gray goes up. Beaten in the air though by Stapleton as the defender now at the back for United. They find Mark Hughes. Hughes goes away from Bracewell easily. Plays it through the gap. Whiteside's onside. And Whiteside's galloping down the right for Manchester United. Van den Hauwe will stay with him. Whiteside still there. Curls it in! could have won the cup for Manchester United. The young Irishman took the ball down the right. He was all on his own. He did a little Belfast shuffle, and he saw that Neville Southwell was slightly off his line, and he took aim like a telescopic rifle, and it was an inch inside the far post. This could be the storybook ending of all storybook endings. Manchester United, down to 10 men, have taken the lead 6 minutes into the second period of extra time. It's Everton 0, Manchester United 1, with Norman Whiteside, and Everton now have to battle.
Well, a great finish. Everton hesitated their back line just for a second. I thought Norman Whiteside might have been offside on the right here. He galloped, collected the ball, cut inside, and then his left foot, it was just going on the outside of the post, and at the last moment crept inside, and what a time to score.
But Everton now will bat, and you can be sure, and they have a corner, and Stephen takes it, and it's headed away by United not far. Sheedy tries the shot. He's challenged once more, though, by Robson. And here comes Strachan on a run for United, and Strachan's still going, and Strachan feeds Olsen, and Olsen's going down the right for Manchester United, and Olsen is with Reid. Reid comes to challenge him. Olsen there. Oh, good tackle comes in, though. It had to be a good tackle, too. So, it's a throw-in to United. This is absolutely unbelievable stuff. Oh, what a final in 1985. United down to 10 men. Kevin Moran sent off 10 minutes before time. Norman Whiteside, the youngest player ever to appear in the World Cup finals for Northern Ireland, now playing in midfield because of injuries to Remy Moses. He scored a goal, and Strachan's in possession, and he finds Olsen, and Olsen plays it back to Robson. Robson's on the edge of the Everton penalty area. Back to Gidman. Gidman goes down the byline, stands on the ball, plays it off a defender's leg, but Everton take possession. Now then, can Everton come back here? They've got 2, they want 3. Reid is brought to the ground by Robson. Referee says play on, though. And Whiteside takes possession, and away to our left, about 50,000 Evertonians are like a sea of stone. No sound, no noise, only colour. Away to our right, it's all Manchester at the moment. Now, what a last 7 minutes we could have here at extra time. People will talk about this final forever and ever. Everton 0, Manchester United 1. Ball deep inside the Everton half. The United half. Sheedy's there. Lays it to Van den Hauwe. Strachan comes in to challenge. Van den Hauwe gets the cross in. Cleared though, once more by United. Whiteside, the hero of Manchester now at the moment, finds Strachan. And now Everton have got to find a little something special. But Olsen's going forward, and Olsen's challenged by Stevens, and Stevens gets the ball away from him, and it runs into touch, and suddenly the Manchester United players are 10 feet tall, maybe remembering the great days of yore for Manchester United. I know Dennis Law is listening to this one, and I know Dennis Law now will be sitting on the edge of his seat, as will all the Manchester United supporters that listen to us around the world, and indeed the Everton supporters too. But it's still Hughes inside the Everton area. Olsen with the shot. Deflects to Robson. Robson with a shot. Southall saves. Remember, it's been a great season for Everton. League champions, Cup Winners' Cup at midweek. Looking for that treble today that would be unique. They're 1 down. They've got 5 minutes to do anything about it. 5 minutes of extra time. Buskeen's going to try. He's being challenged though, and the ball played back to Bailey. And so often, Trevor, we've seen in the past, when players or teams are down to 10 men, they play with more fire and more fight and more energy from somewhere, don't they?
Well, amazing. I mean, since Kevin's gone off, there's no way somebody walking into the ground would have thought that the red shirts were playing a man short. I mean, Manchester have been superb. Everyone worked hard. See Everton now have put Derek Mansfield up to centre forward to make the extra man, trying to get the breakthrough. But certainly, even since they've gone ahead, if anyone's likely to get another goal, it's been United. They're still pushing men forward, and it's really been a terrific last, 45, 50 minutes of cup final.
It's a free kick to Everton, which Gary Stevens takes. Long ball from him looking for Andy Gray. Gets the chest in. Stapleton's back. Stapleton as a defender now. Turns the ball away. And United keeping possession. That's all they have to do. Well, they wrote to say that. That's difficult. As Radcliffe pays it back. 4.5 minutes to go in this 85 Cup final. United in possession. Robson's beaten though. Again, Hughes trying to go forward, and he's tripped by Robson, and Peter Reid is very angry with the referee for that trip. And the referee tells him to calm down, and Peter Reid, like the good pro he is, calms down. I tell you what, if United win this one, well, it'll be one of the great achievements in their great history. But there's still a little less than 4 minutes to go. And Peter Reid waits to take the free kick for Everton, desperately now looking for the equaliser here. Reid will leave it, and Radcliffe chips it forward. Andy Gray with the header, not far enough though. Strachan's there to defend. Strachan, ball runs into touch, I think off Strachan. It was. Van den Haar will take the throw. 10 yards from the United corner flag. Finds Bracewell. Bracewell with a cross, headed away. Stapleton is the hero at the heart of the United defence. Ball played out. United comes scampering after it. And in the end, what a loosely Van den Haar plays it back. Stevens finds Neville Southall. Southall with the clearance. 3 minutes to go here. Whistle goes. It's a free kick to Everton, I think. It is, yes. Kevin Radcliffe, the captain, will take it 10 yards inside the United half. Takes the free kick now. Stapleton's there, and Stapleton clears for United. Drops to Reid. He's challenged by Mark Hughes, and Hughes has got possession. Hughes, a lovely ball to Olsen. Good challenge by Gary Stevens. Referee says it was illegal. Olsen goes down. Free kick to United. Halfway inside the Everton half. Brian Robson again having a word with the referee. Olsen picks himself up rather painfully. 2.5 minutes to go in this cup final. Everton 0, Manchester United 1. What a final, Trevor.
Well, very dramatic. I mean, I thought Gary Stevens a bit unlucky. I thought he covered very well. I think of Everton, he's been the outstanding player, had a super game, and really a bit unfair for him to be penalised for that.
Robson takes the free kick, finds Whiteside. Whiteside finds Gidman, and Gidman happy to stand on the ball now in the corner quadrant, which is keeping possession, which he's perfectly allowed to do. And then finally Sheedy plays the ball off Gidman's legs, and it'll be a free kick to Everton. They take it quickly. We've got a minute and a half now. Howard Kendall sits quietly. Ron Atkinson comes off his bench below us and says, hold on, my son, hold on. They've got 2 minutes to hold on now, Manchester United, and they'll win a most memorable final. But Peter Reid's got it for Everton. Plays the ball forward. Finds Sharp. Ball is cleared. And Frank Stapleton, the defender of the hour at the moment, throw in to Everton. A couple of yards from the United corner flag. Long throw from Gary Stevens. Sharp with a header. Cleared by McGrath. Back in by Radcliffe. Back header. Bailey's there. And saves a yard off his line. We've got a minute to go here. And Manchester United could well be winning the 1985 FA Cup in the most dramatic manner possible. Long clearance from Bailey. Deep inside the Everton half. Radcliffe's there. Less than a minute to go. And Radcliffe goes on a run, the Everton captain. Tries to get the 1-2, but Everton perhaps a little tired now. And the ball runs over the goal line. And it's a goal kick to Manchester United. And below us I see Kevin Moran, who's been virtually in tears since the sending off, is now punching the air along with Mick Brown, the assistant manager, and Ron Atkinson, who's linking arms with Mick Brown and saying, can we do it? Can we do it? 20 seconds to go. I think they can do it, you know. I think they can do it. A long clearance from Bailey. Deep inside the Everton half. Gary Stevens gets underneath it for Everton. Hughes, though, picks up the loose ball. Good control by Duxbury, who's played in extra time for Arthur Alderson. We are now in injury time of extra time, and the photographers are kneeling in front of Ron Atkinson. Long clearance. The whistle will go any second. You probably won't hear the whistle, but here comes Sharp to Sheedy. Good header from Sheedy. Gidman clears. Referee says that's a free kick to Manchester United. As I say, you will certainly not hear the whistle from Peter Willis, but you will hear certainly the biggest roar I think that Wembley's ever heard in a cup final. Because United, I think, have won it with 10 men. Gary Bailey waits to take the free kick. Takes it up. United have won the cup. And the first man on the field is Kevin Moran, the man who was sent off. And he's followed by Ronald, and that's the best moment for me. The two men, Peter Reid and Kevin Moran, shake hands. And Howard Kendall pats Kevin Moran on the back. That surely is what football needs. That's a great moment for me. Howard Kendall, who will be disappointed, bitterly, clearly, wanting the unique treble. But it's Ron Atkinson's day, and it's United's day. Gary Bailey shakes hands with Neville Southall, and the crowd away to our right are going absolutely crazy. And there Gary Bailey shaking hands with an England sport colleague, Gary Stevens. It's Reds there shaking hands with Blues. It's Everton who won so many things this season, the league champions.